Welcome to Heroclix Borderlands. I'm your host, Shay McClure, bringing you the meta-casual perspective on Heroclix, sharing my insights, thoughts, and experience with other players who love this awesome game at all levels just like I do. Whether you're playing a casual home game, local tournament, or at a regional or national event, taking on the latest meta team, this is the podcast for you. All comments, suggestions, or questions can be directed to our email at lostinclicks@gmail.com. That is LOSTINCLIX@gmail.com. Also, you can private message me on hcrealms.com under the ID of ColossusTN. Or you can go to our Facebook page of Heroclix Borderlands, where you can message me or just read the latest articles and videos I have run across about this wonderful game. Today is February 26th. I'm almost at the end of February, and this is episode 33, the Lego Movie. I have the Lego Movie because I have one of the master builders on this show. That's Devon, otherwise known as Happy Little Heroclix. So yes, I've got him on the show. We're going to find out more about him, find out how he makes such great teams. So just sit back, enjoy, and hopefully you can learn something just like I'm getting ready to about team building. All right, Heroclix fans, I have with us Devon from Happy Little Heroclix, and he's going to sit down with us and kind of talk out how to build teams. But first, as always, with all my new guests, I can't even believe I said that, but yes, for all my new guests, I am going to do my double six shot of questions, a double six pack of questions, a critical hit of questions, as I like to call it, and we're going to get rolling. Are you ready, Devon?
I am ready.
All right, let's see. So everybody wants to know more about you. You do great videos and all that. And if nobody's checked you out, you have a Happy Little Heroclix YouTube channel. People should check it out. It has a lot of team building. So what I want to know is, when did you start playing the game? What set?
Right when cards started. So that was the Avengers set. I looked up the dates on HCRealms. That was 2007. I had just finished high school, and I was like, what's this game? I really wanted to get into it. It looked cool. I had played chess as a little kid, and I was like, oh, this is like that, dice rolls, and they're superheroes. Why not? I finally went out and bought my first brick with Arkham Asylum, right?
Oh, I was like, oh man, Arkham.
I got this for Christmas. I'm so excited. I got a full brick. I'm going to build some teams. It's going to be fun. And the game died. Immediately after. I got the news on Christmas of, the company went under. Okay. So I ended up picking it back up again right after Hammer of Thor. So I wasn't able to get any Hammer of Thor, but I jumped in around Brave and the Bold right when that Blackest Night starter released. So I want to say that was like 2010-ish. I kept the stuff I had opened right in that Arkham Asylum brick and the seals I played in before, but I just didn't actually start playing until I guess 2010 then.
Okay, 2010. So
yeah. And then off and on, I'll take breaks every now and then, but no, nothing too bad. I'll still come back and buy boosters.
Okay. So what, 8 years? Right around?
Just about 8, 9 if you count the break.
Yeah, and I always count the break because you're probably still keeping track of Heroclix, just not collecting it, maybe?
Right. Well, I actually didn't know it was still a thing when the company died. So I found out by going to a comic shop later on. They're like, oh, it's still here. I can play with my stuff. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That just barrel rolled from there, and I've been stuck with it. But I'm having fun.
Hey, that's all that matters, really. You gotta love playing this game. Okay, so question number 2: you a theme or non-theme kind of guy?
Usually non-themed, unless there's something specific and that's fun about building theme. I'm not like a comic purist. I read DC, but I don't read all of DC comics. I'm more for non-theme usually because I like building with fun mechanics and making it work that way.
So you're a shenanigans player.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so
that's the word to go to.
Yeah, so you're the combo guy. You like the combos, and if it's theme, that's fine. But if not, you're not going to bust up a combo. You like combos, like Frogman and Mixie.
Yep,
best combos of all time.
Yep, definitely a combo guy. I do like my theme when viable, but usually it's the fun shenanigans that gets me playing.
All right. Well, there you go. Okay. Number 3. What was the first figure you pulled?
It happened to be of the Avengers 2007 set, right? I played in my first ever sealed event. People were teaching me how to play that event, and I opened the super rare Iron Spider-Man, and immediately everyone in the room's like, "Will you trade me? Will you trade me?" I'm like, and then my friend who was teaching me how to play was like, "Don't trade them. They want to give you feats. Don't do it.
Keep the Iron Spider-Man."
I actually still have him.
Oh, I still have one too. I love that set. I love that Iron Spider-Man. All these little gold things coming out. That's awesome. Okay, so wow. So you actually kept your actual original figure you first pulled. So that's cool. So you pulled it in a sealed tournament then?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I don't remember how I did. I think I lost still, but yeah, I still kept that first figure.
Oh, and it's going to come up to, this is question 4, and people should go out and watch this video where you have opened up how Roll20, your tournament experience online. And I just want to know, how was that online tournament experience?
It's actually pretty fun. The Roll20 system is used primarily for Dungeons and Dragons players to play online. And the Realms Open Championship, the ROC guys, utilize it to run Heroclix tournaments online. So if you're playing just a casual game with friends with Roll20, you have to upload your own pictures of maps and figures and take care of everything. Whereas if you play in one of these ROC online events, you end up prior to the tournament emailing a build sheet and pictures of the figures you own to the tournament organizer, and he takes care of all the pictures and maps for you. So really, all you have to do is show up the tournament day, and everything's good for you to go to just start playing once the tournament begins. So I've really enjoyed it. I have yet to win. I did the best this last weekend. I got either like second or third. I went all the way to finals, which was pretty fun. But I've enjoyed it overall. It's great being able to play at home, where you don't have to drive anywhere. Because like I said, Omaha's kind of tuckered down. We still have casual events, but when you want to play something meta, I usually have to drive quite a ways. So it was fun to be able to test and build out teams online with that system. So it gets a A+ for now. There's still stuff they could do to make it a little faster, but it's really fun. It's definitely worth trying at least once.
Let me ask you, do you get rock points for that?
Yeah, so it's a official win a map tournament or whatever they do. So I actually, for the first one I played a few weeks ago, I just got in the mail the prizes for that. So this year, instead of like poker chip objects, they are 3D printed little standard objects for you to use. I got 2 lights, so one's like a yellow stop sign or whatever, and then you still get dice too. So official stuff.
Hey, that's cool. And you really have pushed me more towards trying to win those tournaments, because I was kind of worried about having to go out and get my map size correctly and get the figures, the pictures of the figures to go on that. And I was like, that's a lot of work.
It can be a lot of work, like when you're testing on your own, but yeah, thankfully the ROC guys handle the majority of it for the actual tournaments. It would be good to if you go to their ROC Cup, this is a free plug for them, I guess. ROCcup.com. They have a Discord channel where people will help you get set up if you want to try a practice game.
Oh, and I think that's going to be important. I'd love to see this take off, because I don't know if you listen to it. Well, you said you started listening to it, but me and my buddy Mark play online, but we pretty much actually have the actual map with a camera.
Yeah. And we kind of had the same idea, because for my Patreon members, I try to do a live show each month. And the first one I did, I kind of took your idea and did a teleconference type game where I had a camera pointed at the figures on the map, just like you did. And then they would tell me where to move them. And it works. It just takes a lot longer, I found, than the actual Roll20.
Oh yeah, because you have to say what location it goes in, and it does. It's also nice to have the, for me, I like the tactile feel of moving the figures around.
Definitely. But people like seeing the figures.
Yeah. But I mean, the Roll20. Let's be honest. If you want to play in a meta tournament or test competitive teams, that's going to be a great way to kind of go out there and test these teams out in a quick way with low, setup. I can pull up my laptop, pull it up. Hey, here's my test team. Let's go try it out.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's cool. And I'm sitting here talking, and we're wanting to find out about you, Devon. Let's just focus back on you.
Sorry, I'm terrible at talking about myself.
Well, we're going to fix that. That's
All
what
right.
Okay, what is your favorite power in Heroclix and why?
All right. I'm choosing leadership. Why? I like the ability to take action tokens off of figures and give them more opportunities to do more actions when they normally couldn't. Because probably the worst feeling is having a turn where you can only clear and wait for your opponent to attack you. And leadership does give you that chance of, I have a chance to maybe give one dude the opportunity to maybe make an attack this turn.
Hey, mate, there's nothing wrong with that power. Leadership,
Yeah,
I think
it's only gotten better.
underutilized. Yeah, I know. A lot of people say prop, a lot of people say perplex. Leadership, it's that hidden power down there.
Yeah, well, with the new leadership where you can take tokens off of higher point characters if they share a keyword, oh, it's a ton of fun.
Oh, yeah, that can get kind of, if you get lucky, it can cause some problems.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go on. This 6. This will end up the first die of questions. Where did the name for your YouTube channel come from?
Well, I think when I was first originally making this, before I posted any video, I just created the account, and I had just gotten done. I think the Twitch.tv site had just finished streaming a marathon of Bob Ross. Old shows, and his catchphrase is of course like happy little trees or whatever, so I kind of like stuck. So you have HLH as the abbreviation, right, for the Heroclix channel. And even on my first video series I did, the Joker's Wild, the icon I kind of tried to put together for that had like a tree on it. I ended up going with this little face icon I got commissioned from an artist I follow instead. But yeah, originally Bob Ross.
Okay, and I love that. I love Bob Ross. I love happy little trees. I think Heroclix needs it. A lot of times we'll talk about negative stuff or anything like that, but you need a little happiness. Heroclix brings me a lot of joy and happiness. And I just think that's awesome. You try to do that. And I'll just shout out that it's probably that image you have is one of the best branding images I've ever seen. I love it. I wish I could have one like it. So that's pretty cool. So, let's jump on that second dice. What is the hardest thing about Heroclix?
Well, I happen to judge Heroclix at my local comic book store, and I've always found when trying to teach new people, the hardest part about them catching on is all the different powers, and then the exceptions to those powers that come from characters with special powers. It feels like a lot. Of course, I think it's like the tabletop teacher, his opening video is like, all right, hear me out, guys. This is a complicated game, but please keep watching. That's usually what I have to go to too, is like it seems like it's going to be a lot, but once you play a couple games, you kind of get the flow for it. There'll still be more to learn after that, of course, because you have exceptions to exceptions to exceptions of the rules. But it's a ton of fun. If you like chess with a hint of chance, moving superheroes around the board, it's a lot of fun. For me, I've been around long enough that I kind of understand WizKids when they're going with a new rule change. But for like the hardest part of the game, I think is just like conveying this is how it works.
Oh, no, I agree. Trying to understand those interactions and the way they use their wording to tell you how something's going to work, kind of understanding all that. But once you get it, you can play with it. You know, it's kind of like, you know, you can mess with it. You can do some, what you like to call shenanigans, just running around doing some stuff that, you know, that the game can do. So yeah.
And they've gotten a little bit better. Like it used to be like you'd have two separate figures who do the same thing, but the powers would be worded completely different. And they've kind of streamlined that process. So for the most part, a lot of the figures now work the same, kind of like the JSA Joker's Wild figures that share defense values, or like the shifting focus. There isn't anything too different about the wordings for those figures. Oh yeah, they all do the same effect, kind of.
Yeah, and it kind of takes away. I know that with the rules change, they try to take away a little abuse. You know, some stuff that is a little out of hand. So yeah. So I mean, that's cool. And let's just be honest. In my opinion, growing this game is really important, especially like right now. We just want to add more and more people. So helping people get past that's an important thing to do. So, hey, number two on this second set, where's your local venue at? Where can we find you?
Krypton Comics in Omaha, Nebraska. I actually run their events Thursday nights at 6 with a good friend of mine, Johnny, he's been running the games there since I think it just about started. And then I tagged on a couple years back to help out too. But yeah, check it out. We have a WizKid open weekend. Actually, 2 venues in Omaha got a chance to run one. So we are sharing the same weekend. We have a Saturday and Sunday event. So
wow.
If anyone is interested in coming down,
2 WKOs in the same city. Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Especially for like the Midwest, because I feel like the coasts get a lot like right next to each other, or like Texas has a lot like all in the same area. But Midwest is kind of spread out. So thankfully we have 2 opportunities here to run that.
Yeah, I kind of noticed it. The closest WKO to me is 300 miles.
Holy cow.
Maybe 250. Well, one's a 4-hour drive. The one I'm going to is a 6-hour drive, but my wife has family up there, so it's cheaper to stay up there.
Oh, yeah. So, you can spend the night.
Yeah. So, and she wanted to go visit her sister, so I'm going to go there. But, I mean, where I'm located at, there's not a lot of close WKOs, so that's why the Rock Online's appealing to me, too. So.
Oh, yeah. For those people that are spread out and don't have anything nearby, it's an opportunity to still play with the same kind of meta people you'd meet at a regular tournament.
Hey, there you go. Hey, number 3. Okay, and this is big because I started this when I kind of changed my format and started interviewing more people and trying to learn from them. So I started this thing called the Illuminati.
Yep.
And every guest I've had picks an Illuminati. I've had several... Symbio picked Doctor Strange. My buddy Mark has Mr. Fantastic. So, in the vein of the Illuminati, and I know you're a DC guy, but this is Marvel, who would you choose to be?
All right. So, I was thinking ahead of time, and I was going to go Batman, but I'm pretty sure that wouldn't fly. So I actually
you never know. It sometimes there's a weird crossover.
Yeah. I'm sure he'd be part of it. But look, I don't read enough Marvel, so I kind of caught up on the past couple years of Illuminati, and I'm gonna pick Namor because I don't believe that's been picked yet.
No, he has not. Namor is out there, and that is cool. I'm gonna add you to the list. Namor. Any real reason other than him not being picked?
Him not being picked, and then also kind of being the weird, like he's the ruler of this whole other separate area that these other guys of the team don't really know about or isn't featured too much. I'm like, sure, Mr. Fantastic has been underwater, right? He's been to Atlantis, but like Doctor Strange doesn't normally go there. Iron Man doesn't. Hey. Namor kind of shows up. He's like, hey, I'm the king. Yeah, let's do some stuff.
And they're all like, okay, sure, Namor. Yeah. Come on. That's cool, though. I like it. I like you as Namor. All right. I always ask this, and it's always what I think. Taylor, we're going to put you to the test. Which one are you, a prob or perplex guy?
Okay. So I have a little story for that, if that's okay. But I like
tell both. Your stories. Go for it.
I like both on the same character from like day one of Heroclix. The biggest shenanigans I've ever ran was in Brave and the Bold. They had it wasn't shifting focus, but it was alter egos, I think.
Oh yes, AE.
Where like if you damaged a character enough, they could do a power action switch to their actual person. So like Clark Kent goes to Superman,
Bruce Wayne to Batman. Yeah,
right. They had an Jason Blood to Etrigan figure, and if you got that Jason Blood to alter ego to Etrigan, he had prob and perplex. The problem was that was on click 3 for him to change over. So the team at the time I used was there from Giant Size X-Men was a Boom Boom, where she'd make these bomb tokens where at the start of the turn, after she's made them, any character adjacent to them was dealt 2 damage. So you put them next to your Jason Bloods. The next turn you deal them 2 damage. Now they're on the click to alter ego to Etrigan, and you have 2 probs and perplexes to use right away. So both, if I have to choose just one, I usually go prob because I need that. My wife's favorite teams are all mystical characters, so there's a prob on her side of the field. I need just as much to compete. Otherwise, she probs me into like a critical miss usually.
Hey, I understand. Sometimes it's a proliferation of arms right there for prob. Yeah. And I love that. We don't talk about that in Heroclix anymore, but I do remember back in the day, it was all about manipulating your dial and get past activation clicks. The old phone booth. Wasn't it the phone booth? You could do that. Heck, I used to do it with pulse waivers. I just
that's another. So this is the golden era before my time, but this is when you could pulse wave your own friendly figures, right?
Oh man,
get up past all activation clicks.
Oh yeah.
I had a story of my venue where someone did that with the con artists who on click 2 had perplex, right? So you pulse wave them, they'd go to click 2. The problem, his starting map was on elevated. He pulse waved, crit hit, knocked them off of elevated, killed 5 con artists of his own accord on his first turn.
Now that is a tournament story right there.
Yeah, that was something you can only dream of. Like, I wish I was there just to see it.
Just boom. Ooh, I have no more con artists. Oh well.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Okay. Here's another telling one. I'm gonna put you to the test. So, if you add your druthers, is it sealed or constructed? And tell us why.
Constructed, because I'm addicted to this game and have bought way too many figures to not play them. So it's usually just finding fun shenanigans to build week by week. We're a pretty casual venue here in Omaha, usually. So it's just fun. You play whatever you want, usually. And so the majority of the time constructed. For bigger events, I sometimes prefer sealed, sometimes prefer constructed. It depends on the era of the modern age that we're in.
Yeah, I can. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sometimes like the resources can get out of hand, but other times they're balanced enough that they create a diverse enough team range of figures that you can play.
I feel you on that. I like constructed until the meta's either too predictable or just kind of everybody's playing the same thing. Then I want to seal the
if it narrows down to like 1 or 2 teams and that's all you ever see, probably sealed. But I mean, sort of at the tail end of War of Light, you saw a whole mix of stuff because that was right when ID cards just came out. But on top of that, you had all this War of Light stuff. So it was a weird mix. That's why I'm kind of excited to see these ROC age tournaments that Howard Brock is running, right? Because that's everything released from Superman until present day. So you have all the good oldies still showing up to some of these tournaments.
Oh yeah. And you know, and you got to deal with them, and it adds all kinds of different little unpredictable teams to show up, which is, I think that's key in a lot of tournaments, is sometimes showing up with an unpredictable team, you know, can throw people off their game.
Oh yeah, special shout out to one of my patrons, Lucas. He went to a ROC event and got second, and his team used that old Galactic Guardians mole man who can free mind control your own friendly monsters. He took Zombie Super Scroll.
Oh man!
He mind controlled his own Zombie Super Scroll to go attack people, and then he used the new Dr. Frankenstein, because you could use new figures with it too. And that Dr. Frankenstein has a free action support, but I think it's only on monsters. So his whole team is monsters, bunch of, again, shenanigans. It just sounded nuts.
That it is, and it's great too. You know, like you said, you got these combinations we've not seen in actually competitive play in the Rock Age.
Yeah,
you know, because these guys weren't out in the same time, so that's pretty cool. I've kind of held off playing in Rock Age. I don't have a lot of those old figures. I do have some. I'd have to go dig them out, but that might swing me too, especially maybe an online Rock. That might be pretty cool. I don't know. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
I mean, there's still viable teams that are newer too in that age, because all the newer figures usually are costed less points, but have the same stats as older figures.
Oh,
I've seen so far.
All right, now we're going to come down to it. If you won World Championship, oh, and you know, that's all a dream. That's at least my dream. I love to win a World Championship. But what figure would you design, and please describe it?
All right, so I'm sort of like on the line here because my wife has almost forced me to choose Detective Chimp if I ever go to Origins and win. It's like it's almost a marriage vow at this point.
Okay, well, there's what you got to do. All right.
It's her favorite figure. I wouldn't hear the end of it if I didn't make him. And he's just fun. So the one I would make would have a special trait because he's the detective, right? He would solve clues throughout the game. So probably it would end up, if your friendly figures were damaged from an opposing figure's attack, put a clue token on Detective Chimp's card, and he would have some kind of outwit that would get greater and greater based on the number of clue tokens on his card. So maybe with 1 clue token, he can outwit 2 times in a turn, or maybe with 3 clue tokens, he can then outwit team abilities. And maybe something special, maybe almost like a title character then, where he'd have some ultimate ability where you remove all the tokens, right, and do something really special. Maybe turn off all the powers on the opposing figures or something.
Oh wow, that sounds cool. It seems like that'd also be a low costed figure because it's really things.
Yeah.
So
he would just sit in the back, maybe he'd be starting regular outwit, so he'd be a support outwit figure. But then if your opponent leaves him alone throughout the game, his outwit's just going to keep stacking up and getting better and better.
Oh, nice. I like it. I mean, unusual, different than any other one I've had on this show, and a support figure too. And I kind of like your idea of maybe him being a title character. It'd be pretty cool. So
there's a lot of stuff WizKids can do with that title character power set. It allows them to do a lot of unique things without it being too complicated, because all the title characters are going to work the same way, where you can do it once per turn. It's basically like, if you've ever played the Magic the Gathering card game, they basically copy pasted the Planeswalker ability.
Oh yeah,
and called it title character.
I do like, and we've seen that direction with title characters, that they're making them in different ways. Like Thor Odinson is what I consider an offensive title character.
Oh yeah,
really, he's just offensive. He's not going to have any trouble with his power set being able to attack or not. And then you got the support pieces out there. Even Charles Xavier's title character is more of a support piece.
Yeah, he's definitely more defensive. It's just hard to make him work, I feel, because they take damage unless they make attacks, right? But as a support figure, you usually don't. You're not on the front lines right away.
Yeah. Have you heard that one shenanigan they're doing to get around that?
With the Fast Forces Penguin?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, where you can make a free attack. So that can work together, but of course, if you wanted to be theme, Penguin's not exactly going to be a mutant.
No. Unless you put Magneto with him.
Well, I mean, Danny DeVito could be a mutant, so I mean, it'd work.
That's true. If you put Age of Apocalypse and Magneto on there.
Yeah, that's actually the team, I think, this week was my team building video was that Age of Apocalypse Magneto bringing in X-Men keyworded figure. And that's actually what I played on the ROC Online this last weekend, too.
Oh, yeah, I did watch that, and that was awesome. I love
I made a Nighthawk Prime and X-Men.
I know.
You almost need it.
It's crazy. And you had the Iceman at that lower point value, creating those ice clones. I wasn't able to watch all of them. I watched the first one with you and the Shredders.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. I loved your positioning. I loved how you kind of moved things around and forced him. You kind of countered what he was doing. You knew you were going to take some damage and kind of threw it out there, got him up there, and then kind of dealt with it. And he had a pretty good team with the Vanisher. Never thought about that, but
yeah, I hadn't seen that Vanisher in like a year and a half. So it was cool seeing that come back. Yeah, those ice clones were an MVP too, because they sort of changed the rulings on that old lace dinosaur bystander token. So if it takes pushing damage, it actually dies. And all those ice clones have incapacitate, so I kind of got him there. My ice clones in that game actually missed like 4 times.
I know.
In a row.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was really good. Old Lace is one of my favorite figures.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. Since they made that change to his ruling, his ability kind of goes down a little bit. So, yeah, got to be careful with him. You can push him off. All right, I want to spend a moment talking about your current endeavors. I recommend your channel to anyone that is getting into the game, has been in the game. It's very inspiring. Love your videos. Love what you do with them. So why don't you tell us about Happy Little Heroclix? What are you doing and what do you got going on and what do you think you got in the future?
Oh, sure. So right now we have weekly constructed team building videos, usually focused on like a single cool figure and the shenanigans, again, that word, that you can build around that one single guy to make him work really well. And then also a regular video series on the channel is anytime a new set releases, we do the sort of the same team building format, but we focus on sealed. So not only do you get a brick unboxing video, we open up 2 boosters at a time, open or build a 300-point team out of what we open, and then I have like a solitaire kind of game series after the fact where the teams we've built, we make them fight each other to see who wins. Wow,
that is a great, concise setup. I kind of like that. So your unboxing videos, especially the what I call like the sets, where you're unboxing the sets and doing booster builds like sealed. Those are important for your sealed events, like your pre-release. Well, you wouldn't get it for a pre-release, but you could get it.
No, unfortunately, I'm not there yet. Like, I'm not on the WizKids mailing list or whatever people are on for to get that early. But hopefully it's useful for people going forward if they look at these like, okay, maybe this is what I should look at when I'm building my own team for my own sealed events. And it actually works out this time because the X-Men releases this month, but then next month is all the WizKid open sealeds, and those are X-Men. So hopefully this time it worked out so people got a heads up. My series.
I'm going to be honest. I'm probably going to go watch some of those because my WKO is going to be a sealed one. And me and Mark have been playing the set, and this set in sealed is just a little different. I mean, it's just, it's, you don't have any big hitters. Don't expect a 300 anybody. It's it's an odd little thing it goes with.
Yeah, there's no standalone really auto win figure. Unless you're super lucky and get like a Kid Gladiator and another. One of my friends just played in a sealed. He had Kid Gladiator and the title Magneto together. And I mean, that's going to be pretty strong, but you still have the opportunity to take them down, I feel, if you open just right.
Well, that and Kid Gladiator, the lack of Indom on that set, the lack of flight and mobility on that set.
And Precision Strike almost everywhere, or Psychic Blast too.
Yeah, and the lack of more than like toughness. Very few characters are doing more than 2 or 3 damage, and you don't have a lot of stuff above toughness.
You have a ton of perplex.
Ton of perplex, ton of leadership. I mean, leadership and perplex together on a lot of figures, and so it's as I said, I'm going to love going to this WKO, but it being sealed, this is going to be a tricky one. I don't think there's a lot of 300-point teams you can go out there and just clear. I think that'll be hard unless you get this perfect pool. And like you said, Kid Gladiator and Magneto could probably knock out.
Because then you have 2 main attackers, right? But that's, the 1 in a million chance because that's opening 2 super rares.
Oh, yeah. I do think one hidden figure out there, and it's my opinion, I could be wrong, but this comes from my buddy. He played against it. 150-point Wolverine.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He's hard to put down.
Stop clicks.
Oh, yeah. He's hard to put down, and he does huge amounts of damage, and I think he comes with leadership and perplex, too.
Yeah, he has the same headmaster. On top of that, the Cyclops and I think it's only Cyclops and Wolverine that have that thing where if an opponent on their turn attacks a different X-Man, you could have Cyclops or Wolverine make a free attack on top of their regular attacks.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty solid right there.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. So I say, this is a trickier set to build in sealed. I think it's a little trickier. I think you're going to have to make some huge decisions, and synergies don't work as well as you think. But that's from so far with me and Mark playing in the sealed event I've played, just kind of noticed that in the new set. But moving on, because I don't want to get stuck just talking this different stuff. But your big goals this year. We all want to know what you're driving towards. So what are you driving towards?
Well, I have a couple. Like, I've separated this out into like 2 different parts. One's like obtainable goals. So goals I can set for myself where I should be able to achieve them if I put in the work. Okay.
And I agree with you. Work is important.
Yeah. I mean, then there's of course the farther reaching goals that are like, they're there. If I can do it, I'll definitely try to get there. We'll see if it happens. So obtainable goals. One is to reach the new criteria mark for YouTube's like partner program. They changed that this past year. So before we were part of the channel was a part of their program. We had reached the benchmark to be a part of the YouTube partner whatever. And they changed it within the past few months so that you need at least 4,000 hours of watch time on your videos and 1,000 subscribers. And actually, the channel itself has reached the benchmark for the number of hours watched. We just don't have 1,000 subscribers yet. So I'm thinking with the rate of growth on the channel, as long as I put in the work, it should eventually reach that probably this year, I would hope. So that's one obtainable goal. I'm actually going for the second goal is to hopefully win a WizKid Open sometime this year. And I'm actually traveling up to Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Wow.
This weekend to try to go to they have a sealed WizKid Open up there this Saturday. I think Saturday.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going up to Richmond this Saturday. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, I saw that Lockjaw figure, and that kind of sealed in this trip because, man, he looked like a lot of fun.
He does. I love it. I was around when the original Lockjaw came out and was abusive, and I loved Lockjaw then. He was a great transporter. That's cool. You can win a WKO. Now, I love how you're going up for a sealed. What made you choose Minneapolis? Just closest, or
it's the closest nearby. It's like 6.5 hours north. Except if I go through South Dakota, I can pick up some friends. Lucas, who I mentioned, is going to go up with me too. So we'll both be there. Try to win that. But the closest outside of that was way down in either Kansas or Mississippi. But it was just about 40 minutes longer than this Minneapolis trip.
Oh, that's cool. You're going to have a friend there. I think that's important for a competitive event. I mean, you got to be able to have somebody you can talk to and all that. Okay, so those are your obtainable goals. And you're going to find out. And you also get another shot. May will be another round of WKOs. So, there's plenty of WKOs. That's what we hope.
We haven't, so I run them in the ones in Omaha, right? I'll get to play. We actually partner with another store. They do one of the WizKid Opens. We do another. So I get to play in 2 this time, but we haven't actually heard official emails or anything regarding May or June for the next WizKid Open. So it's kind of up in the air right now, but hopefully we get them right before Origins happens.
Oh, that'd be cool. And that'd be the last time for World's Finest ID cards. Because they rotate out. So there'll be a big rotation after the WizKids Open. Yep. And we'll all be holding our breath on what the new meta looks like.
The farther reaching goal, where it's kind of up in the air if it'll happen or not, is to compete at Origins if I can make it. It's still kind of up in the air at this moment whether I can afford that or not. But an attempt will be made this year. We'll try to get there.
Origins is a blast. I've been 2 years. I have yet to make Worlds or Nationals. I go there and get into qualifiers, and I just don't do well. But it's a blast. And I say, if you're up there, you'll see. I'll be up there. I'd love to meet up with you, Devon. I mean, it'd be pretty cool. I'll be staying in a hotel at the convention center, so I'd love to have you come over and we play or go there. But I would recommend, and I say this to everybody, if you're going to go, no matter what, you've got to compete in the team event. The team event is the most fun. It is the most fun I've ever had. 6 boosters, make 3 300-point teams. You and your teammates fight it out with other teams. That is a blast.
So I've always seen that format posted, but what do they do for the actual tournament? Do you have your team your team all on the same map fighting another team who's all on the same map, or do they divide people into their own separate games?
Okay, here it is. What will happen, and this is great, and I tell you this because it is awesome. Anyway, so you got to have 3 people. Mm-hmm. So you get your team together. You'll pay your entry fee, and then they will give your team 6 boosters. So you have to make 3 300-point teams. Yep. So after you made your teams, you have to designate an A team, a B team, and a C team, and then basically consider the A, B, C team to be like a Voltron figure. So your Voltron figure goes against another team's Voltron figure, meaning that the 2 A players play each other on a map by themselves, and right behind you on a table, right behind you, your B players play, and on a table right behind them, your C players play. And then what you're doing is you're trying to win 2 of the 3 matches. Oh. and they keep track of the points. And if your team go 3-0, and then you kind of get seeded that way, and you keep working through basically a normal Heroclix tournament, and then you come out with, I think, like top 8, can't remember, and then you work down to the finals. It's
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. That sounds like the whole Origins event sounds like a lot of fun. Actually, the first year when I got into Heroclix around Brave and the Bold, I went to Gen Con, and I think they were still trying to put things together. I think that year was 2011. And it was they were kind of in a crowded hall where they didn't have a whole lot of room, but it was still fun. I have not got to try Origins yet, so it's a good time this year, I think, to try.
It's a huge area. They've got battle royales going all the time. You have these other events. I would say plan what you're going to do, because Origins also has all kinds of, if you like tabletop games.
Yeah, it's its own board gaming convention.
Oh yeah, my wife loves that, and I like doing that. So you have little breaks, you can go do that, and I mean it's fun. The Saturday event's very low key. The stress days are Thursday and Friday. That's nationals and worlds usually. Wednesday's a low stress day. They don't open till 12. You won't get in the hall until 12. But Wednesdays and Thursdays great times to pick up your convention exclusives. Line's kind of low, so you don't worry about it. Just go get them picked up, go home. So I hope to see you there. I mean,
I'll have more announcements as I go. Definitely on the channel if we get it worked out or not.
I'm
root for it.
I'm gonna root for you. I want to see you there. I think it'd be awesome. Definitely. Okay, so those are great goals, and I want to move on to our main topic. And this is something that I know I struggle with at times. Other viewers struggle. It's team building, and you seem to have this great knack of coming up with teams and doing stuff. And that's why I called this episode the Lego Movie. You are a master builder, and we're wanting to learn from the master builder how you put all those little Legos together to make whatever you're making. You know, these great designs.
Sure.
I'm going to kind of direct us with some questions, and we can go from there. But what inspires your team designs? When you look at figures, what inspires you?
Usually I find some kind of obscure figure that either I like and haven't seen posted around online yet, or if I can make a team unique in its own certain way, maybe grab a figure that's already on a lot of players' teams, but maybe I could use it a different way. They usually grab that. So again, we'll jump back to the buzzword for this this podcast, shenanigans, for why I pick what I pick. It's usually that.
So you're not going to pick anything boring, straightforward, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick. I'm not going to go with a bruiser. I'm not going to go with the.
That's usually why you haven't seen like a Goblin King or a Jakeem on the weekly build videos yet. Is there's not much to be said about it.
And no point.
They're really good figures, and don't get me wrong, you can do really well with them. I just don't have anything I feel I can add to it to make it interesting.
There's nothing new to do with it. Yeah, unless they synergize differently with another piece. Yeah, like a vet. You would have hated vet icon soups, wouldn't you?
Oh yes, I've heard stories of the old hypersonic days where you had your full range.
Oh yeah.
It was off. It sounded bad.
13 movement.
Yeah.
Range, 5 damage, 12 attack. It was like, I didn't want to play this game. That's what you usually said. So, okay, that's cool. Could you give us off top of your head, now it's kind of putting you on the spot. What's a figure that we're seeing a lot of that you have a different take on how to use? Do you have any?
Right off the top of my head, was what inspired this week's team building video, in that I saw the price just immediately spike for that Chase Magneto all the way up. Presumably, I think because people want to use him right away before he retires with the ID card. But played as his own figure, he has plenty of options just on his own to do and make really cool teams with, because he makes any figure you want 150 points or less an X-Man. So if you wanted to make your theme team special somehow, just grab anyone you want. Do what I did, grab a Nighthawk Prime
and make him a theme.
Yeah, make him an X-Man.
Wow.
So that's one. I can't really think of because I haven't looked at too many meta builds off the top of my head from Modern Age recently that I've wanted to add on. There's of course the Unimind, and I feel like I don't really have anything I can add to that. He's just super strong.
He is, and people have maximized him right now.
Yeah.
I don't know and it's like maybe you're missing a figure that might change the way you use them. So right now with the current crop of figures with him, he's probably being maximized used. And I don't know that you can bring a new creative way to that. I mean,
yeah, maybe not yet. Maybe we'll find something in the Avengers Infinity. I wonder if that'll have more Eternals for him.
More Eternal options can make him a more interesting figure.
Yeah, well, he's interesting on his own right now. It's just people have found exactly what to do with him, and I don't have anything I could really build on.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. Infinity War could make a huge change to everything we're trying to do. I mean, just kind of way it goes. Okay, so do you have a common element in all your teams? If so, what is it?
Let's see. It's usually, well, for the constructed team building videos, it's usually at least like 3 or 4 figures on a team. So I can talk about how they all work together. What I'll eventually try to do, which I'm still trying to brainstorm how to do it, is talk about just a single tentpole figure as its own 300-point team, because there's only so much you can say really about like Icon Superman, right? Or well, even like in the Superman set, there is a 300 Superman. But yeah, the usual thing you'll find in my videos is a lot of different figures all working together in unique and interesting ways. Like that Anarchy with the bombs.
Okay. Oh yeah. See that is an amazing way to handle that. Yeah. How about? So you're not really looking at like one figure that has jumped off at me as a tentpole figure, but probably at 400, but 300. I don't know. I think he's pretty tough. It's that new Lex Luthor.
Oh, the Justice League God.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
God of Apocalypse.
Because Mastermind got a bump with the new rules where Precision Strike can no longer just flat out ignore it. So with Mastermind and Quintessence, where he can't be outwitted, there's just nothing you can do about his Mastermind at all. It's just there.
At 250, he's pretty silly. My buddy, I'm going to do a shout out to Mark, has been using, in a 400-point game, been using Tyrannus with him. So I think they share the ruler keyword.
Oh, yeah, ruler.
And, I mean, Tyrannus pops out those pogs like left and right, and it's just Luthor's cannon fodder for his Mastermind.
Yep.
I mean, all he's missing is a surefire leadership to take tokens off Lex Luthor, and that cannon would keep firing over and over again.
He could actually, I've been kind of messing around with the ruler keyword and the super rare Hela. There are actually a lot of low point ruler leadership figures. Mm-hmm. There's the 25-point Odin from the movie set.
Like him. Yes.
Ruler as Guardian. There's actually another Lex Luthor in Modern right now. The Fast Forces from the World's Finest Lex Luthor is 50 points. Ruler keyword, oddly enough, and Politician. And if he lands his leadership role, he can give all your friendly figures within 8 squares sidestep and +1 attack for close attacks for the turn. So if we wanted to do some sidestep shenanigans, you could. And then because he, of course, shares the keyword with the God Lex Luthor, if they attack the low point one, he can Mastermind up to the God and vice versa. Do plenty of nonsense that way.
And this is why we call you a master builder. Off the top of your head, I just throw a figure out there, and then all of a sudden we get all these options for this one figure, which I thought...
It's literally all I do for the majority of the day. Stop myself. I'll think of a figure, and I'm like, immediately, go to HC Realms. Which figures share a keyword with this one, and what works together? And, man... It's my favorite part of the game is building teams, if you couldn't tell.
Oh, I can tell. And this comes from I love building teams. I will sit around and sometimes I'll build a team, take a picture of it, of the build, and then go on to another build. almost immediately. I just can't stay with one. I just want to see another one. I say, oh, I got this other idea I want to try.
I actually did that this last Saturday. There were actually 2 ROC online tournaments. I had one team that I played in the first one and immediately lost. And then I asked if I could switch, and they said yes. So I then we actually built that X-Men team on stream.
Oh, wow.
Just live. I was like, okay, let's put some stuff together, guys. Let's see what works.
That's cool. So, and I'm going to jump off script here because this leads me to a question. So when your team, what do you think is the key to team building? I mean, so what do you think that key is? What unlocks that potential of being able to become a master builder?
Knowing a whole lot of figures. So you don't have to, of course, own every single figure in the game, but having a good understanding of what's out there. That's why the HC Realms Team Builder is such a great resource, because you can search by keywords. You can search what characters have what specific power you're looking for. So you can find exactly what you need to make your team better.
Oh, well, I agree there. I think AC Realms unit section is one of the best sections to build teams with.
Yeah.
Research figures, to kind of go through the figures, to look over sets. I don't pull out my cards. I'll pull out HC Realms, get on the computer and just kind of look at everything and just kind of go through it and see and get inspired. So I agree there. And it's just like I like to say, I've heard other people say, you just put in the work. You start seeing results when you just put in the work. Get out there and throw some teams together. See how they
practice some games. See what figures work with what you want to do. And take it from there and make some changes if you want.
Hey, there you go. Now, what do you have on every team? Every builder has a tendency to have one figure that they keep going to all the time.
I post one team building video a week, and I think she's been on almost the majority of them since Avengers Defenders War came out, and that's the 15-point rare Jessica Jones, because I just love cheap wildcard figures. I can't get enough of them. I used to play teams of just nothing but them when you could copy the Mystics team ability. Just have a team of here's 10 figures. They're all Mystics now. You, of course, can't do that anymore. They got rid of that. But still, there's plenty of stuff you can do with cheap wildcards. They all work together. It's a lot of fun.
The lure of the wild card. I know what you mean. The Mystics shenanigans that people like to do with the wild cards. They're used to, not anymore. Jessica Jones, that brings up a great point. I think WizKids is doing a great job with low point figures right now. So interesting. I think, but 25 and below. That's why I call low point. 25 and below figures are really starting to be very interesting, very varied.
This is very good. Like that Carnage, Colossal Carnage for 10 points.
Oh, no, it's crazy.
The best 10 points in the game ever.
Oh, him and Flora. PJ has sold me on Flora. Now, Flora. If you can start healing her, she is a bear to kill. I mean, she's not going to do much else, but I mean, she could hurt some figures, but she's just so hard to kill.
So you are very much correct. All the low point figures right now, they're crazy good.
I know.
Whereas before, the figures we'd be getting right now, if this was 5 years ago, they would all be 40 to 50 points.
Yeah.
They'd have 2 damage.
Yeah, it would be worth the investment, but I think a big Tony, that's crazy. Joker Thugs are interesting. I know. Is it Joker Thugs? Yeah, Joker Thugs and Thug, a 10-point Thug who doesn't break theme. That's interesting. With isn't he 4-click steep?
Yeah, his 4 clicks. I don't think he has the regular Thug. I don't think he has any powers. I think the Joker Thug has Empower.
He does. Joker Thug has Empower and the ability to take a shot for Joker.
Yeah.
So
plenty of options out there.
Oh, yeah. I'd say looking over those 10 to 15 points, the filler points, as I like to call them, there's a lot of options out there. And then you throw in weapons.
All those equipments, which I hope they stick to and make more of. We have the Thor hammers, right? But we haven't seen anything else yet. They kind of went back to the whole ID card thing, which I'm sort of torn on, but hopefully they stick to equipment, ID cards, maybe a resource. I sort of don't want to say resource, but if they balance it right, they can make it interesting enough, make it work. I'd be okay with it. Just not at a crazy overpowered level where the game just becomes everyone plays that single resource. Kind of like when the Infinity Gauntlet came out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where the game suddenly became, hey, we need to put the Infinity Gauntlet on everyone.
Oh yeah. I mean, you want a little variety. You don't mind a resource helping figures be better, but then it has to be balanced where as it's not everybody has to have one.
Yeah. That's why I'll be interested to see that ROC age tournament. There was one posted, I don't know when it's happening, but it's not limited, where people can use resources, and it's because it's ROC age, that's basically every resource is available.
Oh my gosh,
that's a ton of variety. That'll be pretty crazy.
Utility belt pack in too, won't it?
Yeah, all the way to the Infinity Gauntlet and forward. I'll be interested to see what gets built there. Of course, not everyone will have access to all those figures and resources, right? So it probably won't be for everyone, but for people that have been around long enough and maybe held on to some of those resources, it might be interesting to see what they do.
I'll bring back some of the power batteries.
Yeah. My favorite is that Iron Man power plant with the rings.
Oh, yes. The Mandarin rings.
Mandarin rings. Yeah.
The power plant. That's what they call it, the power plant. Yeah, that was an interesting. I didn't play during the Age of Resources. That was the hardest thing. I know. It was. I started with Ultimates, and worked my way up until Hammer of Thor was probably my Brave and the Bold. I was at Brave and the Bold, and right in that time, right before all the other stuff, nobody's playing. I was spending money on stuff that's sitting in my closet, and I said, "This is stupid." So I just had to take a break. I was like, if nobody's going to play this game, collecting it's not really helping. And then I came back on Galactic Guardians. So it's at the end of all this other stuff going on. So that was an interesting transition. I did pull a Chase Magneto, the zombie Magneto. But, I mean, I never got to team bases. I never got into all the resources.
Mean Guardians of the Galaxy.
Sorry. Not Galactic Guardians. You're right.
Right.
Guardians of the Galaxy. So, that ended. So then I got back into it, and now I'm full bore into it. And I'm like you, I'm kind of tore on resources. Sometimes I like to just build limited teams, no resources, just
limited has been a whole ton of fun. That's what all of the ROC online events have been so far. I'm a big fan of it. Modern Age is still okay to me, but you still have plenty of shenanigans going on with that. I just like that there's all these different formats being supported now. So you're not just set to, you can only play Modern Age right now. There's plenty of other limited stuff, thankfully, because of the ROC Cup. There's plenty of stuff you can build. So if Modern Age isn't your thing, there's all these limited events, right? There's the ROC Age. It's kind of like what Magic the Gathering does. They have formats for everyone. They have their own kind of Modern Age, right, of the past couple sets.
Right.
But then for the collectors who've bought cards or whatever since the golden 90s, there's their, I think they call it Legacy or
their Legacy. One,
where you play all the expensive stuff. So we're kind of getting into that with Heroclix now with all the Rock Age stuff.
All right. So let me ask you, were you a former Magic player?
I was a dirty Magic player. I think I started on Pokemon when I was 7.
Okay.
Went into Yu-Gi-Oh! A friend showed me Magic the Gathering. Then I went into the World of Warcraft trading card game, and then Heroclix.
I did play Magic the Gathering, and I just missed Black Lotus. I was right at the beginning of Magic.
The super rare card. Oh man.
I was right at that before Fallen Empires and all that. It is in their second run, Sierra Angels, the Dragon, all that. I was at the original with the Dual Islands and all that. Kind of fell out of that. Heroclix, I'm an addictive. I love kind of team building, deck building games.
Yeah.
Heroclix has got a little bit more strategy. I won't say it's more strategy, but it's a little bit different. What I call deck building. You're building a deck that has to move on a 3-dimensional surface and changes.
Yeah. And if you're good about collecting figures, and unlike me, and you balance your budget, like you can get what you want and not hopefully pay too much for it. I buy too much.
I buy too much all the time, and hopefully my wife won't listen.
Thankfully, unlike Magic, right? You usually don't, unless it's like a generic. You usually don't need more than one of a figure. So that's sort of the selling point I say to like new players, or if like a parent brings their kid in for the Heroclix night, I say, okay, hear me out. We're going to hand you all these figures because they're extras and we don't need them. Take these home and just know like you can play whatever you want.
Oh yeah, and that's important to know. And there's that gambler's chance all the time when you buy those boosters. Man, I love opening up a set. So anyway, but we're getting way off topic.
Way off topic, yeah.
I know, because this is all about how to build competitive teams.
Bring it back.
I gotta bring it back. Let's see.
All right.
Okay, so here's a clear question. How can I make my team building better? Oh, wait. Did I miss one? No,
that was the next one.
Okay. No?
Yeah, it was like, what do you have on every team? And then what tips do you have for team building?
Yeah, what tips do you have for team building in
various formats? So you asked like casual, competitive, and then meta. So
people, we do script this out.
Yeah, thank you. You guys have no idea how much work this man puts in. This is a great podcast. You should be listening every release. He sent me a whole script, guys. I don't do barely anything. This man's great.
All right, let's go.
Okay. So for casual team building, I would say play whatever you want. It's casual, have fun. When you want to bring that casual team, and maybe your local venue is going to be playing for a monthly LE that you definitely want to win this time. If you want to bring your casual team and make it sort of competitive, look on HC Realms, see what weaknesses your casual team has, and see if you can replace any of your figures to try to tackle those weaknesses without creating more. So if you already have two close attackers, right? You're missing some kind of ranged attacker piece. Maybe swap out one of your close attackers, get in your ranged attacker. Now you cover both bases without losing to your opponent playing multiple ranged figures the whole game. If you want to bring that competitive team and you want to take that to an ROC or WizKid open event, start looking at like the top 8 build lists posted either on Facebook or hcrealms.com. See what's winning tournaments and try to figure out how your team could handle those teams, because that's the biggest thing is when you're team building for like large scale meta events, you need to have a good understanding of what might show up and how you might be able to deal with it. Not just your own single plan for your own single team. You need to know how your team is going to handle everything else on the field, usually. I can't say this as someone who's won multiple meta events. I usually don't place that well. But I feel like I've been around enough to know, okay, you need to like tackle what your team can handle.
Hey,
that's good advice.
I think that's great advice, and I don't hold anything against anybody that's not won any top level events. I mean, I always tell my basketball players, I coach basketball, at that level, when you're playing people like that, it's matchups, it's stuff you can't control, the dice you can't control. You can control small aspects of it, but in the end, it takes a little bit of luck to get to the top in a meta event. I mean, you can bring a team that can maximize your luck, but I still say you go out, you play in them, you have fun. I love this advice. I'm big on you need to take a team you're going to have fun with.
Oh, definitely.
If you hate playing teams that do a lot of little different things, don't play teams like that. I don't. Yeah. If you hate playing them, you're not going to play them well. I don't care how good they are. You will mess it up.
Yeah, you're there not only to win but to have a good time. And if you're not having a good time with the team you're thinking of playing, switch it up. Play something you want. If you're enjoying yourself, you're going to have a way better time and better stories to take home after the tournament.
Oh yeah, and I guess people overlook, and it's a huge belief of mine, people overlook being comfortable in your team and knowing your team inside and out. can advance you a long ways inside of a competitive tournament as long as it's a decent team. I'm not saying as long as it's a competitive team and you knowing it the best. Sometimes a win out against an ultra competitive team that the guy really doesn't know what he's doing pausing it.
Oh yeah. If you've practiced your team, you like it, you have a good understanding of what you're going to be doing most games, you're already way steps ahead. It's the practice ahead of time, knowing the field. Hey. Sports analogy.
Oh, there, no one.
I don't follow sports. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And here's the thing I run into. I go to those competitive events. I don't know about you. The night before is not the time to tweak a team.
Oh, definitely not. I've fallen to that trap before, and I've gone to an event, planned out a team. I'm like, okay, I got this. This is going to be a ton of fun. And then at the very last minute, day of the event, I'm going to net deck this other team instead and lose first round and be mad. Don't do that, guys. Play what you're going to have fun with. Play what you've practiced with.
Yeah, bring it. And I've always said, you never know. You can lose that first round and still be okay. You can lose the first round. You can be okay. Stuff can go against you. You can even lose the second round and finish it near the middle or higher. You can
still make the cut.
Yeah, it's just the way that goes. I mean, especially a couple of times, sometimes it's just the matchup. There's one team out there you don't match up well against. If you never meet them in the tournament, you're great. But, a lot of times you'll meet that team. You're like, crap, dang it. This team does not work against that team. But
sometimes you just run into your counter. It can happen.
Yeah. So, that brings up, you're talking about this, to have fun with, competitive, you're going to address weaknesses. Come on. Everybody has one, Devon. I have one. What's your unicorn? What's the piece that you're longing to make work, but you just can't?
Oh, gosh.
The mythical beast you cannot tame. It's the unicorn.
I don't have one yet, but I want to make that new Doomsday work where he has a stop click on every single click. Except for right now, he just dies to a green arrow.
I know. I agree with you. I thought, man, he at 300 points, you filled him at 300 points. People can't kill him in time.
For a minute, I thought, okay, what if I gave him steal energy through the use of the blood axe? Turns out you can't. He's a giant. You can't equip him. So I was like, darn, okay. There's just so much else that needs to go right for him. And in Modern Age right now, I don't think I can make it work. Probably Golden Age or an ROC Rock Age event. You can find ways to give him like steal energy.
Or or
regen with the power batteries.
Power batteries. Yeah, work with that. I was thinking, I don't know much about power batteries. Pandora's box or...
That was one. Well, the power batteries, you could equip them at the start of the game with all sorts of constructs. And you'd equip those constructs to a character. They'd get whatever power that construct had. There was just straight up a construct for regen. You could just give someone regen, and then they had it. And that was the end of it.
There you go.
So there's that. But usually for my videos, I try to focus on Modern Age because that's what the majority of players have. Because for the longest time, there just wasn't anything supported for older Golden Age events. Once something retired, it was basically gone.
It's on eBay. You put it on eBay. There you go. Well, that's really good advice for team building. But how can you make your team building better? What steps do you need to take to just make it better?
We've hit the point already, but I'll reiterate again. Just go to hcrealms.com, check out that unit section, look into what weaknesses your current team that you're thinking of playing may have. See if there's any other figure that you could swap out that might address that without causing more problems. That's a pretty solid advice for new players. Okay. I think the majority of veterans, if you've played for more than about a year, you're pretty good to go with, you should know of hcrealms.com.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I think, well, I've said it on my podcast before, I think WizKids has abdicated that ability for the players.
It's so strange because you come from like any other collectible game, right? Magic the Gathering, they host their own database, right? Which has been the case with almost every other game imaginable. I think it's just WizKids doesn't have the staff at the moment.
Yeah, the resources or the staff, and fan base has picked it up. And so they're not really forced to do anything.
No.
So,
and it's to the point now where, like, how would they even trade that over to turn the HC Realms unit section to WizKids? And would we want WizKids running that is a separate question without getting too negative here.
No, and I agree with you. And I mean,
because as a separate entity, they can have volunteers constantly update the section.
Right.
And if this was handled by WizKids, who's running 4 or 5 other games at the moment, they're probably not going to have the time to constantly update it with new figures. They've done a good job though, posting pictures of all their units, which is useful.
Yeah. Ever since they switched over to their new website, I think from the Spider-Man, is it?
Yeah, just about. Yeah, the website revamp has helped a lot. The win system revamp. There's still some things they need to fix with the win system to report and run events, but overall it's just above and beyond what it used to be. It's really good.
Right. I think it's an interesting marriage here in Heroclix, in that the company is not fully in charge of the competitive events. They kind of are, but it seems like the players drive the competitive events.
They are very much hands off, outside of their nationals, and the WizKid Opens are new, and I think they're mostly there because the ROC stuff got so popular.
Oh yeah, and I love the ROC, and that WizKids allows that to exist without competition. You know what I'm talking about? They're not trying to crush it.
Yeah, they try not to step on each other's toes. Who had Howard Brock on? But Howard was on an interview, and he said, for the most part, they're hands off of each other as long they both will share emails, right? WizKids and Howard, and they'll try to not schedule on the same dates as each other. But for the most part, WizKids just lets them run whatever they want, which is pretty good.
I think that's great. That's great for helping us build the game and all that. And it doesn't kind of get it into with one entity in control, it could get stifled and drive people out or get kind of pigeonholed. So
definitely use HC Realms, make your teams better. Definitely put more practice in, whether that's playing solitaire games. You can even use Roll20 as a solitaire tool to understand the game. Edward Shelton is another Heroclix YouTube podcaster, right? He's recently revamped his show using Roll20 to go over placement on maps, and it's so very useful because he'll draw on the map much like you would see on a football game. So maybe you should go to this area and do this thing.
I have not watched that podcast, but he's one of my favorite podcasters. I mean, Edward can sit there and talk for hours. I mean,
he's based in Kansas City, so I've been down there frequently, and it's always fun playing with him. He's great. Wow.
He seems like a great guy. That's cool. I'm glad you mentioned him. He's one of my favorites, Starting Over podcasts. That's awesome. Go check that out, especially if he's using that. Hey, I'm going to throw something at you.
Okay.
And this is just kind of, I want people to understand the process. We'll get to the random boosters, but I'm going to throw something. You said address weaknesses. I'd love to give the viewers an example of it. So I'm going to throw out my WKO team. And I know this is off the fly. Okay, but
all right,
you've proven you're really good. Okay, so we'll see. So because I can't do anything by itself, I was going to run, back when I was going to go to a construct one, a double shark team. Double king shark. Double king shark. I was going to, okay, so the team was going to be double king shark. It was also going to include King Aquaman. Got to throw him on there. For 20. So that's 200 points right there. I was also going to have, let me pull it up here. Hate it when here it is. I actually sent this to Symbio for his advice on this team. And he said, oh yeah, I love Symbio. He's
great. The P3 guys.
Yeah. Let's see. I was also going to run a Shredder clone for 75. So I'm at 275.
And are you going to do the 10-point thingamabob where he swaps out? Okay, just regular Shredder clone. All right.
I don't own one, so that's a problem. Okay.
Yeah.
So then I'm at 275.
Yep.
I'm going to put 4 ID cards on there. Okay, the ID cards are Green Arrow, of course.
Yep.
Zantana.
For the bombshell?
Yeah, the bombshell Zantana.
Yep.
Wonder Woman. 2 versions of Wonder Woman, deciding on the match I have. I'll have Diana Prince there or the Justice Rider Wonder Woman. Either one. I don't know. I'll just look at my opponent's team and then decide which one I'd have for the ID card. Yep. And then I would run 2 Jean Greys. I'd have a Jean Grey card and I'd have my 2 options. One being the Chase Jean Grey off the new set or the Fast Forces Jean Grey with her double TK. And that was going to be the team with the boxing ring.
Oh, okay. Boxing ring. Yeah. So you have definitely a way to keep safe, hopefully, because you're not theme, I don't think.
No, I can get.
Unfortunately, you have kings and so much of their names, but no shared keyword.
No,
the team right away while you were talking, but
it was an interesting team. It's not anywhere near the ultra meta. So let me go over some things that this team was going to afford me. It is a get in your face very quickly and deal tons of damage.
Yeah.
If I'm going to go over my strategy with it, and maybe this will help you kind of understand all of it. First round, I'm calling in Zantana.
Yep. You make the dude.
Make John Constantine. Now, all of a sudden, my team's got this 6, which then gives me +1 to make sharks. Okay, so, and then probably every round, I'm going to do a call in to keep me at 6 people until I make my attack. However, I don't have to. I can hold off if somebody's slow playing and I want to give them better position. But once I bring in John Constantine, you better expect me to be calling in somebody about every round to keep my +1s. And I'm probably going to attack those next 2 rounds. And I'm looking to get off, 5 clicks, 20 clicks of damage around?
Yeah. So here's over the advice we just did. Weaknesses I see off the bat. We're not themed. So we have
Correct.
King Aquaman there to make water just in case. So that's sort of covered unless they are able to kill King Aquaman right away and you've only made like 1 square of water. Hopefully you have at least 2 squares of water each game to move the sharks to. The sharks you don't have a way to carry these characters into water or TK them into water. So they're going to have to either sidestep up over multiple turns to get into water so they can free move across the map, right? Or power action, move into the water, and then on the next turn, move again, which on the 3rd turn then leaves them with 2 action tokens. They can't do anything, which sort of hurts it.
But that's also, I was also thinking, I'm just going to throw this out there, that's where my Fast Forces Jean Grey could come into play.
Yeah. So that's where the TKs come in. One trick I've seen other players use, and actually, again, shout out to another patron of mine, Loki the Trickster, has played these sharks very well. And one trick he'll do is he'll be an animal theme and use the new Tribble figures. At 5 points, they can once per turn make a copy of themselves onto the map. So no matter how many figures he loses, he's always at 6 figures, like the whole game. Because as soon as one dies, on the next turn, he's like, okay, I make a Tribble. Now I'm back at 6, and I have my full bonuses on my dudes. And you could play just 1 Tribble at 5 points to make sure that happens, because otherwise to get those bonuses, you're going to have to call in every turn, which you may or may not have a figure available to do that ID call in for.
Yeah, that was a concern of mine. I mean, this was all in 3 to 4 rounds of just intense damage. And my thought on Green Arrow was once the King Shark got damaged, he can call in Green Arrow and let him maybe finish something off. But I mean, it does have some very major weaknesses. I agree with you. I do like the the thought of the tribbles. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if we want to take it a step farther and go to something that I think hasn't been utilized as much as I think she could be, she has the same Secret 6 trait as King Shark, the Jeanette Rare from Harley Quinn. Her starting defense power works like that super rare Swarm, where she only takes 1 damage from attacks unless the attacker rolled doubles. And she has that for 2 clicks. So that's 2 clicks of only taking 1 damage. She has starting sidestep TK, and then gets pushed on her second click, has running shot pulse wave with a 10 attack, 3 damage. Where if you do this thing with the tribbles and have 6 characters, right? That's an 11-4.
Wow.
Like I think she's like 50 points too, which could be pretty crazy.
Right. And that would mean, and it's just us talking it out.
Yeah.
So that would mean I would be going for theme, right? And my theme would be Secret 6.
You could do that, or if you're still not going theme, you do her and tribbles, and the tribbles would help her gain her +1 stats too. Yeah, I think for theme with King Shark, I think you always go animal. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think so too. I like Throg.
Crazy. Yeah, Throg makes them ridiculous. The tribbles are animal, so you have the tribbles. If you decide to carry them, can also use theme team probability control.
Yeah,
because they're tiny size, the King Sharks can just carry them around. I think they give if you're next to a tribble, I think you have -1 to your movement for each tribble, so you have to watch out for that. But they count as animal. Oh, I guess you wouldn't have theme team prob because you're a generic theme, so never mind.
Yeah,
I got ahead of myself. So I've just seen again the Loki the Trickster, friend of mine. He's used those tribbles very well to give his King Sharks +1 stats this whole time. Otherwise, maybe someone to carry the King Sharks if you had a Kite Man.
I looked at that. This team has been a work in progress, and it's been, as you said, you got to identify weaknesses.
Yep,
and
then get some practice in with it too. So if it's working for you and it's doing fine, you can run with it.
I know.
I actually don't have a King Shark yet, so I haven't gotten to the playtest with one yet.
Yeah, I know that Symbio talked about Hawkeye being the biggest thing I'd worry about. Now I agree with him because it could take out King Aquaman. It couldn't take him out first turn because I probably would get first turn immunity.
Yep, and
get 1 off, but the second turn you're probably not going to have a King Aquaman.
Or if you're up against other shredders, they'll just move next to him and he has 1 click of life and he'll be dead.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Shredders. The one thing I did like about King Sharks, they could pretty much tear through a mini shredder.
And the nice thing about that Jeanette, too, is you would have a pulse wave on deck if you're up against other shredders. Because the majority of the shredders have that trait, right, where they come back 1 time after they die. But if you pulse wave them, they just are KO'd. They don't come back.
All right, so people, we're going to do this right now. We're taking that team that I just put out, which is it's an okay team. It's just okay.
It's perfectly fine.
It's a perfectly fine team. It'd be a fun, aggressive team. If you're an aggressive player, this team, and I'm going to tell you, the map I would choose with it right now, and I have not played on Muir Island. They say that's pretty good. But the map I love to play this team with is the Wakanda map.
Oh,
plenty of water on there.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of water. And you know what? You don't have any range figures, so you could care less about Wakanda's advantages or disadvantages for that. But looking at that, let's address some weakness. Weaknesses being King Shark's mobility is limited to King Aquaman. I mean, he's giving them their mobility. That's what we agree upon.
Yep.
And for maximum use of King Sharks, we need to get 6. So we're talking about Jeanette, which gives us a person that's going to survive a hit, give us a secondary attacker, and give us TK, right? Which can get our King Sharks moved around. So now we're sitting at 230 points. Okay, we have 70 points to play with. At this moment, you're going to make a decision on theme or not. We're going to look at it and go, all our other Secret 6 guys are 50 points. Can we get to... No, we're not going to be able to do that. We're not going to be able to get to 6. So we're kind of stuck.
I think the Jeanette route is not themed. Otherwise, we'd go animal with Throg and Tribble.
Throg, Tribble, and I would also make a recommendation of like one of the space turtles.
Oh yeah, space turtles are great.
I like Michelangelo.
I don't want to give away his whole team, because I don't know if he's posted anywhere, but oh well. Yeah. He uses the space Michelangelo. I've featured him before on my weekly team building videos, but he has free smoke cloud. And your friendly figures, after he's done doing that smoke cloud, they gain sidestep as long as they are in that smoke cloud square. Right. So it's a little extra movement for some dudes.
Yeah, King Shark will already have sidestep, but he's got stealth, so that can help him as he moves. Yep. Michelangelo can carry him, and Michelangelo has prob, and I love that Michelangelo. Only problem with the Space Turtles. I love Leonardo and Michelangelo. I love Leonardo's leadership. Got to consider that. And I love his ability to roll and maybe take points off the board for another player. Because Leonardo's ability is
take the equipment away.
You take equipment away, which to me is decreasing the point total of a team. I mean, I don't get to score it, but now my 300-point team is going up against 290. Okay, whatever you're going to do with that object, I won. We don't worry about it. So let's go the Jeanette route. Let's just kind of knock this out. King Shark, Jeanette. We're at 250. Let's say we put tribbles on there. What did you say? They're 5?
Yeah, and you would just need 1. As long as you have as long as you actually own more than 1.
So we're at 235 with 4 figures.
Yep.
Now the key is to get to 6 and stay at 6.
Yeah.
Give them their best.
So I think this becomes what format we're playing in, because in Modern Age, you have the chance for ID cards and Colossal Retaliators, right? Right. Whereas in Limited, for those limited events, no resources, ID cards, and no characters larger than a peanut base. So you also don't have to worry about like Carnage or Surtur retaliating against you. But what you were building for was a constructed WizKid Open, right? So a 300 modern.
Yeah, it's WKO.
I think at this point we throw in something from Xavier's school that will help us handle other teams that we may come across, specifically like a Unimind or a Goblin King, and it's the Leech. I think he's an uncommon. He's still pretty cheap.
He's cheap and he's tiny too, so the Sharks can carry him.
Yeah, he's there for pick a power figures because he has a trait where if your opponent would have a figure, pick some powers, you get to first, before they choose anything, choose a power that they're not allowed to use. Then on top of that, he has his own special outwit where you can outwit. It's almost like a Hawkeye version of outwit, where you can outwit figure after figure as long as they are within, I think 4 squares.
Okay, I like this. So we're looking at Jeanette. She's going to be able to TK once. King Sharks. We're sitting at 265. And I'd bring back, if we're not theme, I'd definitely go King Aquaman still, I think, because you want more options.
You definitely want to at least make one water square that you can TK a shark to, so you can get all the way across the map.
No, I agree. So
shark, then 3 ID cards, maybe
3 ID,
or no, the King Aquaman and 3 ID cards.
Yeah, I think that could work. I mean, you'd have to play it out. Here's my one pushback: Jeanette, while good, it can only TK 1 King Shark at a time.
Yeah, so I mean, you could, of course, if you wanted to do both, go back to the Fast Forces gene, because we're not themed, so there's that. What you could do is, if you went the round table route, is use I'm better suited for these foes with the Jean Grey ID card to swap to a 50-point Fast Forces Jean Grey for matchups where that would help you a lot more.
But then we'd lose Aquaman.
Yeah. So again, it's just testing it out, seeing what works.
What's best for you? No, that's cool. It's just some different
ideas out there for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but it helps us. That kind of goes through the thought process, how you're going to address ideas. I mean, you have to get, this team is based upon getting King Shark in the right position as quickly as possible and letting them take it out.
I think from what you shared right at the start, I think you're pretty solid still. I'm definitely looking at triples, though. They can definitely help you keep that +1 stat the whole game without having to worry about anything, because you just make a triple for free. There's nothing else to it. They just make one. All
right. I really like that. I really like that idea. Okay. I do like here's a shenanigan. Okay. You'll love this. And I just kind of thought of this, and you tell me how much you like this or not.
Sure.
Okay, Jean Grey card. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here's what I like about the Jean Grey card. She gives whoever's around her a passenger 1.
Yeah.
So can you imagine calling in a Fast Forces Jean Grey, carrying her with the person that called her in, then letting her free action TK him even further.
And then you could even have her disappear after that too. Right. So you don't have to worry about her dying. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Like it's ridiculous. Yeah. The whole changes to passenger and carry are super exploitable and super fun. They actually changed the Green Lantern team ability too. All it gives you now is passenger 8. So if you have the Green Lantern team ability, even if you don't have flight, you get to carry because passenger just gives you carry. Fun fact, wild cards can copy the Green Lantern team ability.
Oh my goodness. Spider-Man going crazy.
Yeah. It's like, hey, Spider-Man, you want to carry 8 people? He's like, sure, friend. Why not?
That'd be crazy with Green Oracle.
Yeah. So what the secret tech, which was in, I think like a video 2 weeks ago, was for 5 points, you on turn 1, call in a Green Lantern figure who has the team ability. You have a wild card, copy it, and they changed wild cards too, so that if the original figure with that team ability leaves the map or is gone, the wild card still gets to use it. So you, for 5 points, call in Green Lantern, copy the team ability. Next turn, the Green Lantern goes away, but your wild card still gets to use the team ability and carry all the people around.
Okay, let me ask you this. So would you want... Wait, doesn't she have it? You'd want somebody with leap climb, wouldn't you?
Yes. So the figure I built the team around was the Fast Forces Nightwing, who has the Outsider team ability and leap climb and sidestep for 25 points. So he doesn't even get the downside of a -3 to his movement because he can Outsider himself, where his combat values can't be modified. So he can just carry. He has like an 8 movement. He carries 8 squares. You could sidestep 2 more after that. All for 30 points.
That's crazy. Crazy good. Yeah. It's crazy good. That's crazy good.
If we're sharing teams for WizKid Opens, that's probably on mine. Is that Nightwing trick.
I say. That would be pretty cool. And man, that's crazy. That's crazy. And you know, that's that shenanigans once you get into a little depth. That can surprise people.
Oh, definitely. That's what I'm there for.
Yeah, they're going to look at your team and goes, hey, they're lacking mobility. You can do that calling. They're going, oh, crap, I'm going to have to deal with this all game. They're getting around, you know?
That's what when I go to big tournaments, that's what I shoot for, is surprising the opponent, making them reconsider everything. If you drop an anarchy on the map and place the little bombs everywhere, they suddenly have to go, okay, I can't walk anywhere now.
Yeah, it's like
a bomb going off.
Yeah, it makes them change their game, and that's important too. Can you make them change their game? Okay, so I put up this little challenge here, and I wanted to kind of go through the thought process. It's kind of neat, you kind of breaking down my team and maybe adding some stuff to it. But I chose 2 boosters. I keep track of all my boosters in every case I get. And I'm going to give you 2 boosters, and we're going to throw those figures out there, 10 of them, and you're going to build us a 300-point team and give us your thought process behind it. Okay. So the boosters I chose are my boosters number 4 and 18 that I pulled. They're out of the X-Men Xavier School. First booster has 005 X-Trainee. It has 015 Skids, 016 Mystique, 028 Penance, 049 Professor X Dreamer. Whew. Great pull there.
Yeah.
37A Professor X. Wow, you're going with the bald theme. And 32 Kitty Pride. 22 022 Karma.
Yep.
006 X Student and 005 X Trainee again.
Oh, man.
So, given those, you're in a sealed event. What are you doing?
All right. So, oh gosh, this is
why don't you just go
boosters?
Yeah. So why don't you just go and say, okay, these are automatic throwouts, or any of these automatic throwouts?
Unfortunately for sealed, the super rare in this occasion, the title character unfortunately is counterintuitive to a support figure in Professor X right now, because if you activate a title ability, your title character is going to take 1 damage, I think either at the end of the turn or after the action, if they haven't made an attack this turn. And as a support figure, he's not going to be attacking. Now, there's ways to get around that, of course, in Constructed, but we're in a sealed environment, so we need things that make attacks and don't take damage without our opponent attacking them. So he's gone. Other people I would drop right away.
Oh, well, I do have a way around it, but I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Not a problem. Well, you thankfully did a whole lot of work and shared this beforehand, so I've kind of like built the team.
That's fine.
Of what I wanted to build with, but I think what we start with, what we look in our 2 packs here, is who can be a main attacker and or main attackers, plural. In this case, because we didn't really open anyone who's a standalone figure. Our highest is a 75 point either Penance or Professor X. I think in this case, you end up playing both because there's some, again, shenanigans.
Hey, that's it. That's the key word.
So if we look at that rare Professor X, he is going to help us out tremendously. Unlike his super rare version, he can do all sorts of stuff and not take damage from attacks, and then also help out our friendly figures with the headmaster trait. So his whole dial, he has leadership and perplex. His perplex can only target other X-Men keyworded figures, but thankfully as an X-Men set, there's plenty to choose from, which we'll still bring in at the tail end of this. He has Defend with an 18, Indomitable, so he has willpower his whole dial, and then I like him for his movement power, mind control, where he targets every single opposing character within range regardless of line of fire, but they can only move, which is still important because if we are able to land multiple hits on opponents' figures like that, we can position them in a way so it's almost like we've TK'd our opponent's figures to us for us to attack. Because you'll also notice from these boosters, we didn't really open up much ranged figures. I think the highest we get is either Professor X's, and neither of them are main attackers, unfortunately. But I think we do go Professor X. Next, we're looking at the Penance as another main attacker on the field. Unfortunately, she doesn't have the X-Men keyword, right? So there's no perplexing her, but thankfully she has good stats her whole dial. And I think she is one of the like a champion, like a Origins or National Champion picked her to be made or something. Maybe. It was on the back of the card. It doesn't say on HC Realms. But anyway, she has the Generation X trait where as a power action, you move her 5 squares, you make a regular close attack. What makes her special is her attack power gives her Blades, Claws, Fangs, and she can do it in conjunction with her Generation X trait. So move 5 squares, make a Blades attack. Battle Fury, so she ignores shape change. She also can't be carried, but again, we also didn't open any flyers, so that was another downside of these 2 packs.
Yeah, they're terrible packs. I'll give you that much.
I think we still have a chance, though. Okay. So we have Professor X Karma. We're at 150. I'm grabbing the 60-point Mystique as another attacker. She has the X-Men keyword. So Professor X can perplex her up to an 11 attack. She has Blades her whole dial, so that's more Blades, Claws, Fangs attacks for us to roll. Her shape change will hopefully keep her alive, where if she's adjacent to an opposing character, she can't be attacked by non-adjacent characters. So the tech will be, you're going to mind control with Professor X, keep people adjacent to Mystique and Penance as long as possible, and then make as many close attacks as you can before your opponent starts killing you. So hopefully, when you mind control your opponent's figures, you move their ranged attackers first, and those are the first people you attack. And then you deal with close attackers later. That leaves like 90 points. And in this case, we're playing every single trainee and student to finish it out. I don't necessarily like Karma or the Kitty Pryde as other attackers, and the students all have the X-Men keyword, so we can perplex them, and we have different starting lines based on what you want to do. For starters, the student, we can choose Sidestep Support, Force Blast TK, Mind Control Super Sense, or Plasticity Poison. And in this case, I'm going to choose the TK because we can TK Professor X up 6 squares. That'll give him a longer range for his mind control.
Okay.
If we hit, we move our opponents to us, and then we charge in with Penance and Mystique. For the trainees, this is where I'm kind of like torn on what to pick because we have absolutely no range right now. Her special power gives her range combat expert with a range value of 6, or we could choose sidestep close combat expert, charge super strength, or just 2 clicks of hypersonic. So for her, since we opened 2, I almost want to go with 2 of her range combat expert dials because we can perplex her attack to an 11 and go to a 4 damage in that case. So we'd have some options for range if we need it. And then, of course, all the students and the trainees, right, can stand next to Professor Xavier to get that 18 defense defend. He can leadership them. So hopefully they're making attacks. You leadership roll. You take your action tokens off of the students and hopefully make more attacks. Again, it's rough. You pick the 2 packs that are the hardest to build from.
These are going to be the packs I get when I go to
definitely. Just know if you end up with these packs, there's still a chance. I think what I've put together, it comes to 285. Mm-hmm. I think you still have a decent chance. You're going to have a hard time against like a good super rare, like a Magneto or a Wolverine, but you still have decent attacks to be made.
Well, and I would also say, if you're going to go to a sealed event, it's just me, and this is, you go to a sealed event, you're allowed to bring 3 maps, usually to WKL. Yep. And one map I always would pack, and I just learned this from pulling this figure, and this map just worked perfectly with him, is the Bifrost Bridge.
Oh, yeah, from the Mighty Thor.
Right. It works so well with that Professor X. You wouldn't believe how many times I've moved figures out into that area.
Yeah. My favorite, because in some older maps had shenanigans like that too. My favorite was, I don't know if it was the or the Hammer of Thor, or if it came out in the Fast Forces version of Hammer of Thor, but it had lava squares where if an opponent ended their turn on a lava square, they took a penetrating damage.
See?
So you would like mind control and move them onto this lava.
Right. And I'm going to tell you, I accidentally came up with this because it's just a wide open map. I chose it. And then I had that Professor X that can mind control everybody, but can only move them.
Yep.
And I go, well, why can't I do that? So I would mind control them, walk them out to that. I couldn't do it every time, but a lot of the figures I could. I'd walk them out to that area that if you end your movement in it, then you take a click of penetrating damage. Yep. And it also says you move it to the nearest square out, and the controlling player decides the nearest square.
Yep. The active player.
The active player.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was always moving those figures out and then choosing where I placed them closest out.
Yep.
So I had a lot of control of the other figures, and it made that Professor X power very damaging. That what he doesn't have.
Yeah.
So
my favorite is I saw him played in a battle royale on one of the WizKid tiny battle royale maps. And he basically went, all right, I'm going to roll mind control, and I'm targeting every single opposing figure on the map. The guy ended up moving like 10 figures.
He's fun. He does have outwit. I kind of like what you did. I don't know if I would have. I mean, that's pretty cool. I think you're right. I mean, you addressed all our weaknesses. It looks good. Penance is probably not one I would have chose. But I understand her damage potential is up there. Yeah. She's not going to be able to be mind controlled. So a mirror match with another Professor X, you don't worry about.
Yep.
Right? Yep. Also, those trainees, what you don't realize is they give you so much flexibility at the beginning of a match because you choose at the beginning, don't you? Every match.
I'm not entirely sure. There's no like number between the starting lines, so that I'd have to look into actually, because they've made figures like that before, but I'm just not familiar enough with them.
Let's see. During force construction, if using the 15-point value, you may not include more than 4.
Yeah, so that doesn't say at the start of the game. Usually when it says like during force construction, that just means like the whole tournament.
But it says, and when placing characters, an opponent chooses. So if they can choose then, you should be able to choose then too, I would think.
No, your opponent only chooses if they are played at 15 points.
Right, but I guess my logic would be if they get to choose. Well, I don't know. I guess you're right.
Yeah, I think the difference is when they are played at 15 points, your opponent has to have a distinct starting line for each one. If you play them at 25 points, you can have multiples all on the same power sets. That's why we had 2 trainees with the ranged combat expert. So
it'd be interesting to find out, because if that would give them even more flexibility if you could change them from match to match.
Oh, definitely. I would prefer that. I'm just, again, not familiar enough with figures like this to know if that's the case or not.
So I always say pack that Bifrost map as your third map, just in case, especially in the X.
Bring that in.
Yeah, because, I mean, I think that gives him the ability to damage figures. I mean, and it's a kind of surprise. They go, what? Crap.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you get to play some? Yeah, sorry. You're going here. And that's why. But so, no, I like it. Great team. I like that. That's cool. You kind of went through it. I like how you addressed all the weaknesses. Still got a chance, and even admitted. I mean, 285. We're fighting uphill. We don't have perfect, but that's what's going to happen in sealed a lot. You're not going to be able to hit that perfect 300-point number. So
that's been the case with all these smaller sets too. Is usually you're not hitting that 300 mark as often as before.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a set full of 50-point characters, because then you just play, 6 of them, and then you're at 300 points.
There you go. The Secret 6.
Yeah.
There you go, Harley Quinn. Yep. Well, I was going to say, here's the thing I've done with that Professor X, inside of Sealed, because I play him every so often. That X trainee, is it trainee or X student? X student. What you can do with him is you could just have him on support, and he just sits there and heals.
Yeah,
Professor X back up. Yep. Professor X giving you that plus on his leadership. I like him because he does bring that +1 to defense is huge.
Oh yeah, definitely, because he has defend too. So you're bringing effectively someone to a 19 each turn.
Yeah, and oh no, not the title character. He didn't have defend, does he?
No, it's the rare that does.
Oh no, what I'm talking about is on the title character.
Okay, never mind.
so sorry, I wasn't being clear. Okay. So using the X student to heal that title character, and letting him to +1 your defense, which is huge in this set. I mean, the attack values are low. He has TK, really. And so his +1 with all characters within range, which he has a 7 range, modified defense +1 into your next turn. All friendly characters can be huge. You can heal him with that X student, and he's not great. I'll admit that. Yeah. As a title character, he's not great. And if you pull him and you have better options, I would go with that. So
again, these 2 boosters are more of making something out of a bad situation. So we're the best out of a bad situation, I should say.
And I would say too, you have to also remember in a sealed event, competitive tournament, understanding where you're at point total with this team is important.
Yep.
I think you have to understand that when you need to retreat, and Professor X can keep your opponents at bay with his ability to mind control and run them out of where they want to be.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So actually on that team, I would say you would kill early with penance, and then probably pull back and make the other team overextend to come to you. So, get an early kill, pull back. You're not going to win any big games. You're going to have low scoring games, but you have you as you said, you have the potential to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, and you have plenty of options with those students and trainees too. Because if we wanted to, instead of TK on the student, You could have, like you said, go the support route. So if you move your pendants up, she gets attacked, you move her back, you heal her up, and then your Professor X mind controls people away. Get out of here.
Oh yeah, I remember in a sealed, I had that Professor X, and one of the first games, I was lucky to pull 3 leaderships with him. I mean, gosh, my team was full of leaderships and TK, and I was thinking I didn't think that good, but then he was running the other figures around so much because of he outranges everybody really in this set. He just outranges everybody, and I even had Dark Beast on that team. That's a crazy team. And so I ran a Cyclops. This guy had a really good, like the uncommon Cyclops in this set. It's a really good
Psychic Blast, yeah.
Yeah, he's really good. And he's keeping them just out of range. I mind control, ran him up and killed him in one turn because I just put him in a kill zone. I just ran him up to a kill box, ran all of his other figures away in a scatter pattern.
Yep.
Because they were carrying each other. And the game was over after that. I mean, it's just pretty much.
Yep, that Cyclops is not very defense heavy. So if you can land a good close attack, you're gonna be KO'd pretty quick.
And I felt bad for the player because I was making all my leadership rolls, and Xavier kept clearing.
Yeah,
I was like, well, sorry. And so he was just doing it every turn. You just couldn't get close enough to do anything to him. He's like, move. So. All right, that's cool. I love that. Loved you going through that. How long would you say you gave yourself to make that team? How long did that take you?
I've been looking at that all day off and on. So I'd say probably altogether, going into what I was going to say about each piece, probably about an hour. But if this was, of course, like a sealed, I'd probably have to put it together in they usually give people like 15 minutes or so.
Oh, I don't know how your seal's working. I was just going to throw this out there. A great thing that Richmond's doing. I'm going to Richmond Comics. A shout out to them. Been there before. They're awesome. If you're ever in the Richmond, Virginia area, just go visit them. The venue's great. The players are great. And actually, last time I played in a tournament there, which was over Christmas or Thanksgiving break. I think it's Thanksgiving break. Might have been Christmas break. I can never remember. They had at least 10 players.
Oh, nice.
So that's a pretty good number for, I think, a local venue. But what they're going to do is we're going to do 3 rounds of Swiss on 2 sealed boosters, and then we're going to cut to the top 8 or 16. But then the top 8 or 16 have the ability to buy 2 more boosters and recreate their teams with those 2 added boosters on top of it.
Oh, so they combine all 4 together.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. Because all you got to do is hold on to top 8.
Yeah, and then you get to hopefully amp up your team a little bit.
Yeah, so you could, some stuff can change, and it creates a whole new environment. There's not when you do that, there's not a set team is going to win this. So anyway, I thought it was a pretty cool way to do that. But
definitely, it's worth a shot. Might have to try that out if I can get the players.
Hey, there you go. Okay, so I wanted your thoughts on the impact of this X-Men and Xavier Skull. You've kind of got over team building. I appreciate all the tips, all the stuff. I agree with you. It's just going out there and doing it and just looking at weaknesses. But here we go. Let's look at our newest set. I just want to go over a quick impact of this. You're a huge team builder. I know you're building a lot with them. If you had to say, what's your biggest impact piece right now coming out of this set?
Darwin and Leech. Darwin and Leech all day.
And you know what? My big thing is they're in the non-super rare slots.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
That's another benefit to them. You have an uncommon and a rare.
Yeah.
Big figures that are going to affect the meta at almost every level. I'd say Darwin is going to affect more the limited format because his power damages an opposing figure, which can trigger colossal retaliators. So in Modern Age, they're going to get retaliated against. But in Limited, where you can't have figures higher than a peanut base, he's going to be great. And he was actually on that ROC online team of mine this past weekend because, again, there's no one to retaliate against him. Yeah. For Modern Age, I'd say Leech because he's, again, going to pick up power figures, and there's no way to retaliate against him, really. You just get to choose powers that your opponent cannot pick.
Yeah, he is a Leech is what I call an outwit grenade. He just goes off. You throw him in the middle of people and you just let him go off.
Yep.
You know, outwit energy explosion.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you say? That's pretty. Everybody should be getting a grasp of that. That's great. They're going to be low value. I mean, when I say low cost figures, I mean it's not going to cost you they don't cost a lot to put on the team. Money wise, they're not going to cost a lot, but they're going to make big impacts on the meta. What's your under the radar piece? What's this under the radar piece that you're looking at and go, you know what? People aren't talking about it, but you know what? In a month, they're going to be talking about it.
I'm going to have to give credit again to Lucas, my friend, for this one, but the rare prime brood Professor X, because for these WizKid Opens, the participation prize is a Professor X ID card. And I think this is he just gave me a few examples, but I think this is going to be the call-in figure for that card for a while. He has a trait where if an opposing figure would under 50 points would be KO'd, you can generate a free brood bystander token. So let's say you're going to have a turn where you're going to pulse wave or energy explode a whole bunch of your opponent's carnage symbiotes. You call in this professor. For that turn, once you start killing those pogs, you get to generate your own pog for every one of your opponents you kill.
Wow. That is good. And the pog is a flyer too, isn't he? A regular
flyer, mind control, decent stats, but you just get your own dude for the turn. For the most part, all these IDs have been great if they can make their own bystanders, because the bystander tokens get to stay after the figure leaves, right? That's why the Nightwing was so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think he'll just, from what Lucas said, again, shout out to him, but I think this guy is going to go up in price. So if you can get him now, good on you.
Well, and he's also an 8 range, 3 target mind controller.
On top of that, if he mind controls multiple opposing figures, they all get to share the highest attack value between them.
I know. So, and then that means, and I've done a video on this. It's important about sequencing. So whoever has the highest attack would attack last, because you never want to lose that. So you want to be sure to attack in reverse order, and especially when you mind control. Always remember, as you use one, then they'll revert forces. So so they're all friendly to each other when you first mind control them with 3. So all 3 would be friendly to each other. But if you attack with 1, after he gets through his attack, he then reverts to non-friendly. Yep. So you got to be careful how you're doing that and make sure you kind of do it in a certain order. But that's all cool. So which one's going to the bottom of your tackle box?
Unfortunately, the one from your boosters, the title Professor X. I'm just not that interested in what he can do. Him and sort of the title Magneto, because their ultimates gave them a -9, which is going to be really hard to get to.
Oh god, I love the Magneto sculpt though.
Yeah, Magneto sculpt. He's a decent attacker. I like him a lot. But on both of them, getting 9 title, I don't know. They're called book tokens or title
tokens.
Plot points. Yeah,
plot points.
Getting 9 is really going to be really hard, I feel. Yeah. Unless you're a team built specifically to do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. All the other title characters we've gotten have been around 8. Yeah. They just got to get to 8. And
especially for what the title Magneto and Professor X do, I kind of expected more for a -9. Yeah, I felt like a -9 should be KO an opposing figure or something, because it's so hard to get.
But let me ask you this. Let's look at, can you pull up Magneto Realist quick? So take off. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Take off the -9.
Yep.
Those other 2 are really.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. The -2 is great. Move all friendly characters. That's basically a free sidestep to everybody. Yep. Plus, they could have sidesteps. So
it could be 4.
Yeah. So you look at those 2; they're great. You get to -9. So is this a place where maybe you up him up a little bit because you're you know what? I'm never going to use that. So why do I care about that? I mean, I think his cost is fair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the Magneto definitely. He's He's way playable. He's really good. I think the -9 hurts the most on that Professor X Dreamer because not only does he's not an attacker, right? On top of that, it's going to be super hard to get that -9. But yeah, Magneto's +1 and -2 on top of a really good dial is ridiculous. He's 100 points.
Yeah. I look at him, and I'd almost say you pull him in sealed, you're playing him.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's no question there.
Because he brings two things. It's not the title ability. He brings a flyer, which is a very rare case in this case in here, and he's got high mobility with invulnerability, which will be hard for a lot of figures to handle. And
running shot Psychic Blast, so your opponent. If this Magneto was up against the team we just built, that Magneto is shooting penance right away.
Yeah, and he's got 4 damage, which is a higher damage set. And even if you hit him, he still maintains a pretty good attack value, and he's going to be hard to kill. So in a sealed, Magneto Realist, he has a great ability to up attacks. Just make sure you're going to attack with him because you don't want to do damage yourself to this Magneto. He doesn't have any Dom. That hurts. But I think you play him because at 100 points, he's going to be a pretty solid player.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right. Okay, so kind of went through that. I under the radar piece, I was going to say, I don't know. I kind of agree with you. I like the Darwin and Leech. Maybe Kitty Pryde.
Oh, the uncommon?
Yes. Just because of her ability to allow figures to go through walls.
Oh, yeah. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So her ability with charge characters with a lot of blocking terrain, a la The Office, could be interesting. Okay. So, like, I'm a serial team builder, right? And I am putting together this team for a video for Alpha Strike. I help them out every so often. I don't know if you've seen.
I like those guys. Yeah. Another friend of mine, Fuzzy Wumple, does videos for them too.
Oh, I love Fuzzy. I'm helping out with the X Teams one. I put one out, the Thor Ragnarok team. That was me who put that one out.
Oh, fun! Yeah.
Did you watch that one? I don't know if you did.
I haven't gotten to watch it all the way yet, but I did see that there. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So at Team Ragnarok, I put that together. So I started another one, and here's a preview. I am shooting it tomorrow. I'm getting it out there. Just got busy, but it's Charlie's Angels. Okay.
Are you using the cuckoos?
No. It's a 300-point team. Let me tell you, I have Moira McTaggart.
I can't say it either. Every time I say it, mine's of Moria. Yeah, and like my patrons immediately call me on it, like, "Are you a Hobbit?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't say her name." Yeah, I can't say her name. No one can.
So McTaggart. I got McTaggart. I've got Kitty Pryde, and I've got Storm, and I've got the Professor X in the wheelchair.
Ooh,
I've got 4 3-point ID cards. With my last figure on that team is all new Wolverine.
Oh, she's so good. She's ridiculously good.
So really looking at the Office map, Kitty Pryde, having skids. I forget all the ID cards, but my thought was to just Professor X, because he ignores walls too when he's using his mind control.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. So lured people into that middle room with Professor X, scattering everybody, luring one in, letting all new Wolverine charge in with Jonathan through the wall, having all that perplex with Storm having perplexing an X-Men, Kitty Pryde perplexing an X-Men, Professor X perplexing an X-Men, McTaggart perplexing an X-Men, calling in like a skids to barrier up the room if I need to protect all new Wolverine, and popping out a Jonathan Pog just to tie somebody up, just doing some crazy stuff like that with that team.
Yeah. Okay.
So
something interesting about that Kitty Pryde that I just saw. Friendly characters can move through walls adjacent to Kitty Pryde. You don't have to be actually adjacent to Kitty Pryde. You could be on the opposite side of that wall and come back to Kitty Pryde. So say you've called in with like a charge or whatever, and you have sidestep. You mind control your opponent's figures with that Professor X, move them into a room, charge them, make that attack. And if you can break your sidestep, sidestep out of the room.
Oh, I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's crazy stupid.
Yeah,
I mean,
that could be a ton of fun.
Yeah, so then that's the whole theme behind that team. I mean, they're not going to win major events.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a casual, fun team. You throw it down at your venue. People are going to hate that team, and it'll be fun to play. It's not, you're going to have to make them think a lot about how to beat that team.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do in Heroclix. All these casual teams they have like a fun shenanigan. It might not be meta, but it's definitely something your opponent's going to have to think about for a second.
So if you kind of look at that, if we're going to add this up now, I get this, and I sat down and added up 5 perplexes on that team.
Oh my gosh.
Aldi Wolverine starts with 1, Xavier starts with 1, Kitty Pryde starts with 1, Mariah McTaggart. Eminem starts with 1.
Yeah.
Little Eminem and Storm starts with 1. And,
oh my gosh.
And then start rolling leadership on there to take tokens off people. And you get all those.
You're going to make me play this team now.
And it's all these free IDs.
Yeah.
I have Leech as one of my free IDs. Put Leech. And here, I'm not going to say the wonderful thing is that when I designed this team, all these figures are below the super rare.
Yeah.
And
that's what I try to shoot for that when I'm building my stuff. It's kind of hard sometimes because the more interesting stuff can usually be a super rare or higher. But I do try to have some videos where it's just like, okay, here's a common team. It can still do stuff.
Yeah. I will say the weakness of this team is the majority of my damage is coming from Wolverine.
Yeah.
And that's a weakness.
Jonathan Hogg.
Yeah, Wolverine and Jonathan Boggs are going to have to do the heavy lifting. However, I think they can. Jonathan can survive a hit. Wolverine can survive a hit. She has way to heal. I was looking at my. I did have Chamber on there.
Oh yeah,
that's an ID.
Yeah, so, he's good.
So to bring him in to do some major help finish off.
Did you ever have the old Chamber from Mutations and Monsters? Did you ever get that guy?
I think I did. Yeah.
I was excited to see this new one because he finally looks cool. Yeah. The old one looked like he was just had this little explosion in his mouth.
Oh yeah, it didn't look that good.
Yeah. This new one has like that lightning effect. Does some pretty cool stuff.
I like that. So anyway, that's a team I put together, just have fun with. I was just going to share it with you. I don't know why. It's cool. It's fun.
Hey, that's what we're here for. Sharing ideas, giving people cool stuff to listen to online.
All right. So look for that. I'll do that podcast. It's not a podcast. It'll be a video. I got doing all that. Put it together. You'll see it out there. Charlie's Angels. I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a fun team. I always do them with a map, and I'll kind of say how you can do the setup. Look for it. It should be fun. Here's a great thing, too. The shenanigans I also have in there. You ready for this? Throw your opponent off. Storm can carry 3 people as long as she shares a keyword with them.
Is this the new Storm?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't looked at her yet. I think I opened. No, I had to trade for one, so I haven't looked at her yet. She can carry 3. She can carry 3 if they're X-Men.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So she carries Kitty, Wolverine, and Xavier. She has a 9 speed, and I use my perplexes to keep it at a 9. Or
she has willpower. Oh my gosh! Why haven't I looked at this figure?
And she's got TK. So
why not? So I was sort of out in my mind, back in my mind, I was using. No, I actually played it. The old Pixie super rare because she could carry 4 characters if they're X-Men.
Right.
She's like 75.
Yeah.
So why not play the Storm? Yeah. I was carrying her. I was at the time playing all 4 of the X students at 15 points.
Oh wow!
So just carry all 4 of them around. It was pretty fun.
So anyway, this was just a little team I put together for the Alpha Strike channel. But it's when you start playing around with stuff, you start doing this. You can create what I consider very fun teams. Don't expect them to win a WKO, but you talk about it at your venue, people will talk about them for a while.
Well, it's always fun to put online because you give something cool and interesting for people to watch, which means a lot.
Yeah, well,
I always like finding all the cool builds online. I check out the Alpha Strike guys.
Oh, they're very good about that. They're always talking about that. I love the Alpha Strike guys. So.
Yeah.
All right, we've come to the last segment, which is viewer questions. Malcolm's great about this. I don't know if you know much about Malcolm. He's the international man of mystery, the man from Japan. Have you ever heard of Malcolm Rush?
I have not.
Okay, let me give you an update on Malcolm Rush. Malcolm Rush is a man who was interested in Heroclix, moved to Japan, does not play it, but he follows it religiously. But he doesn't have any. He listens to all these podcasts. He sends in these questions. He'll send in a question to all the podcasts he listens to, the same questions, just to hear different responses. But he has not played Heroclix in over 10 years.
Holy cow.
But he loves the game. There's just not, the game hasn't grown in Japan, or WizKids isn't growing it. So I call it
a good segue back is check out ROC Online. The first time they ran that tournament, they had people from Taiwan, I think.
Oh, cool.
From overseas, yeah. So it's definitely a chance. You can bring this Malcolm back.
Malcolm, you can do it.
Play. Yeah.
Yes.
Come on, man.
All right. So, okay, Malcolm has these 6 questions. He always does 6. And there's some interesting questions. He always has some interesting viewpoints on this. So his first question is, what helps to make a set to become great? So what do you think?
Usually for me personally, I find it to be a good set when it has interesting powers and a good mix of figures of all point values. So you have a good chunk of low. Probably the bulk would be the medium range, and at least a few higher point attackers too. So you give every kind of player something to look forward to in the set.
Oh yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. I don't like all the good stuff focused on the super rare.
Yeah, definitely when you can have good commons and rares. Not all of them, because it's a collectible game. I understand you have to sell your super rares and chases, but you need to give like the casual player something to play.
It was the trend with remember the Batman out of Joker's Wild, the Cable out of Deadpool.
Yeah.
Athena out of Mighty Thor.
Oh my gosh, Mighty Thor was so great for that.
Yeah.
Almost everything from that set is playable.
I think Mighty Thor was the perfect set to come out after the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought they had just done a little mistake in the Elseworlds and left a lot to be desired in the What If. And
that's saying it kindly.
Yes, it is. It is. It's kind of hard. What If's a lot harder to swallow than Elseworlds.
I think because it was right after we got the Avengers and Defenders War.
And Defenders War was a very good set.
Yeah.
I mean, really good.
But then we just got the same characters again, so it kind of burned people out.
Yeah, it got burnt out. But then when Thor hit, it was such a good set. I mean, it's such a good set. It's a good, that's a good beginner set. Gives you a lot of power pieces.
Even within the past couple weeks or so, if a new player online asks what set to get or to start off, and I'm like, Mighty Thor. New rules, everything's good. You get all sorts of good stuff. And
you get a lot of attackers. And you know what? At the beginning, that's what the game is. You want to attack. You want to be aggressive. So, I think that's good. So I agree with you. I like an interesting mix. I also believe it is a collectible game. So super rares and chases will have something to add. But, you also have to give something at the bottom end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Some kind of stable pieces that, help the beginning player kind of latch on, and I'll look for those too.
So my favorite sets have always, I felt, been like that. Probably up there is like Giant Size X-Men. Even though it still had that 300 point Phoenix, which was pretty hard to take down. I felt that set was pretty diverse.
I still
Mighty
have
Thor.
Her.
Oh yeah, Mighty Thor is up there. It's just being really good. Trying to think what. I'd have to go back to the past. Well, I don't know what are some of your favorite sets?
Well, Mighty Thor jumped up there as one of my top sets of all time. Legacy, you weren't around for that, but Legacy was
before my time. I played once in a special sealed event. It was before the ROC was a thing, but it was in the middle of Iowa, and they played a sealed event with Sinister, and I happened to win that event because I opened like a Black Bolt with Pulse Wave and a 10 range.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only good figure in that entire set.
That's what I saw. I was very lucky to have opened it.
Yeah, Sinister wasn't good at all. I did. I would say, you know what? I personally liked World's Finest.
Yeah,
I won't say all their characters, but the majority of their characters, they had really good characters. I mean,
I'm kind of biased. I opened a God pack, so it felt almost like I cheated that set.
Well, probably. But
to make it worse, I was visiting Edward's store in Kansas City, and I opened their God pack in another town.
And you're like, I'm walking away now, guys.
I made sure I already owned like 2 of the chases, so I made sure to trade some. But yeah, I was like, oh, okay, goodbye.
I'm that guy. Yeah, there you go. But
I'm leaving now.
I think World's Finest had that cool shifting focus mechanic. So I considered that a fun set. You had a lot of different types of characters. So yeah, I can see that. But Thor has been the best set I've seen in a long time. Period.
Yeah.
Balanced. If you're going to run sealed, it's a great sealed because the super rares don't necessarily overpower the commons and uncommons. I mean, Thena makes everything equal right there. I mean, so that kind of helps everything out. So if we look at his number 2, in sets, which do you like? High point figures, medium point figures, or low point figures?
So I kind of answered that, but I like a good chunk of it to be the mid-range. I like having a set with all 3. I don't necessarily like sets where it's all big or all small. Because then you run into things where it's like, okay, Joker's Wild, you could open 2 packs and not have a 300-point team. But then you run into a similar problem if it's all high point dudes, which I'm kind of curious what Avengers Infinity will be, is you might open 10 people, but all those figures are going to be like 200 points or more. So you're really just playing one dude.
Yeah, you're doing more temp pulse. Yeah, I kind of like sets with the 80 to 120 range.
Yeah, with a good mix. So you have some support to, like, again, World's Finest felt like that because you had the tiny generic dudes to help fill out your team.
Yeah, I mean, you can switch back and forth, but you need an 80 to 120 points, I feel like, so that you can have a main attacker or 2 secondary attackers that kind of add up to a main attacker.
Yeah. I like this X-Men set. Even though some of it feels like they're smaller characters, I think you still have a good chunk of like 75 to 80 point dudes.
I think there's enough
like Perplex to help them out.
I think the X-Men set will start shining more in constructed, and especially after rotation.
Oh yeah,
I think it will start
so much.
Yeah, and it's not to its determinant. It's just it will start to shine and kind of do a little bit better. So let's go to 3. In sets, sure. Which do you prefer? Figures which have wide range of jobs, jack of many trades type of character, or characters that are really good at one thing?
Usually good at one thing because I like to exploit that one thing. Again, buzzword.
There you go. Shenanigans. You want somebody good.
Yeah. A good example would be the old, I guess it's retiring soon, the Uncanny X-Men set, where you had a good chunk of people that did one thing really well. Like the Wolverines, so like, I'm really good at charging, and that's about it.
Yeah, so you can exploit it.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I want them to be very good at what they do. I don't like one that's a half good at whatever. I do like who is it? Harley Quinn. Paul Kirk. Which is Kirk to Paul. Is it Kirk to Paul?
Which one's the Prime or the Common?
The Prime.
Yeah, where he has range combat expert and close combat expert.
He is a damage dealer. That's what his job is. He is going to hit you. He's going to make it hard. He's got precision strike. He's got sidestep.
Starting like 12 attack, right?
Yeah. And that's his job. That's what he's going to do. He's an attacker. There's no confusing him to do some other little thing. So I do like sets that. If I'm going to have, it's not a complaint. Yeah, it's a complaint because my favorite figures are charge figures. It is. This game is still a range game.
I was about to say, it's unfortunate, but it's a range game for quite a while. King Shark kind of helps that a little bit.
Oh, he does with his sidestep, full move, which could be a 10. That's a 12 movement to a flurry with exploit weakness. It's just crazy. But he's also very specialized. But like you said, he does his one thing well. But you have to really work your team around making sure he gets that job done.
Yep.
So
you can't just throw him on just your average team and expect to do well.
But I kind of like a figure like that in that you have to build a team around him. Then instead of being this figure, just go, he can go on any team and he will work. Okay, thanks. That's a little boring, you know?
Yeah.
It's when you get, Goblin King works on anything. Yeah, he does. Okay. I can't do anything else with him. Let's see. Do you like a set that has many sub things or a few sub things?
So as a DC Comics guy, usually since we get less sets during the year for DC, the fewer sub themes, the better, because then they can expand on the few that are in the set. So we might be missing some people. But if it's like a Marvel set, just give us as many sub themes as possible. I don't care. As long as it's just not the same Avengers again. I have so many Iron Men. I have so many Captain America and Thor. Please give me anything.
The sub themes are fun. I do want you to at least put, if you're gonna do a sub theme, try to do 4 to 5 figures from that sub theme in there. I mean, when you put 2 in there, I'm like, that's taking forever. Who was it? I forget when the Spider-Man says the Maximum Carnage.
Oh yeah, for the longest time that was like there was nothing.
I'm like, don't give us that keyword. As you know, whatever. Anyway, and I think she had a key off of that. I don't know. So in sets, which do you like? Many versions of a character, or should be limited to like 2 or 3 versions of the characters?
If it's like World's Finest with shifting focus, I think that's when I'm okay with multiples of the same, because then you have a chance to use them all together. But if they're not shifting focus, I don't want multiple versions, because I'm usually not putting them all together on the same team. It usually means one's just better than the other, and you'll just play the better one usually.
Yeah,
and it might just take up a slot that could have been given to something else more interesting.
Yeah, I don't. I like to see about one version of a character. I do have exceptions. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan.
Oh yeah.
So I don't mind to have 2 or 3 Spider-Man.
Yeah.
because he has a history of different power ranges, Yeah,
so. I guess that's another thing. If it's a character that we can do different things with, more power to you. If you can make them interesting dials, make more of the same dude. Yeah.
I agree with that. I thought that Al Jordan was very interesting in Elseworlds as a alternate Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So something like that. And I love shifting focus too. I love shifting focus. And just going down a quick rabbit hole, tell me now in your professional opinion, why aren't we seeing more Doctor Strange?
The shifting focus?
Yes.
I think it's the influx of good taxis right now, because one of his is like you carry 3 people or 2 people, right?
It's 2.
And we have Kite Man for that at 45 points less.
Yeah, but I also like his ability to shift into a defensive one.
Yeah, so he's good filler. On the meta level, he just doesn't have enough going for him. On casual events, though, you could throw him in. I think, I don't know, because we have a dwindling number of players in Omaha, it seems. So we kind of just play what we want to play. So I don't know at the large scale why Doctor Strange might not be seeing play, but he's fun.
Yeah, I always try to, I kept thinking, okay, so this is the way my brain thinks. Him with Overdrive and those 2 King Sharks. Because this is back when I was toying with their idea of how to get King Shark to 7. If you can get King Shark to 7 damage, I think that's that's the crazy click. Yep. Okay, so the thought was Overdrive carrying Doctor Strange. Like Doctor Strange would help carry him up. Anyway, Overdrive, you can move the King Sharks, plop them. Then, before you move them, you move Doctor Strange into position where they'll come up and be in base contact with Doctor Strange after he's changed out to his one that gives he has Empower and Enhancement and gives +1 to attack.
Yep.
So you're looking at a King Shark with a 13 attack, 7 damage, because you can get Empower off of Overdrive also.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
So you're looking at a 2 King Sharks Flurrian. I think that team is at 275.
That's not bad.
You could actually afford to put, let me make sure I did my math right. It's 180. Yeah, you put the boxing ring and you put Aquaman on there to give you the water. But it was just going to be, how can I get him to 7? That's one of my thought processes. That would just be 13 attack, 7 damage, 28 clicks of damage in one turn.
Oh, wow. It's just the practice. Once you start once some games, you get an idea.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. All right. I'll drop that one. I do think there's a place for Strange, but you're like, we got a lot of cheap taxis. The shifting focuses have kind of gone away. Don't know why. I think Superman's still a highly competitive piece. I think
it'll be weird because Elseworlds had both a shifting focus Batman and Superman. But if World's Finest retires, there's nothing to.
No, but I do think that Superman out of Elseworlds can stand on his own a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And
he just doesn't have any. He just can't use his trait, but he's still a decent attacker because he can leap, climb, and quake.
And he has leadership, 18 defense, 9 movement, 11 attack. And that Batman is actually, I'm going to tell you, when I play him, it's hard to shift and focus out of him.
Yeah, because he has the group perplex.
So that makes a big difference. Okay. So number 6 is the last one. Make a perfect set you would like to see WizKids do. And if you had anything special to make this set better, what would it be? So what would you go with?
DC Multiversity, which was a summer event, I want to say 2014 by Grant Morrison. It dealt with a lot of the characters you see in like crisis events who are from other Earths. So you followed the President Superman from Earth 23. He was fighting an other universally threat. You had the Monitors come in who were actually, it turned out there was only one Monitor kidnapped by these monsters called the Gentry, and it was up to the Superman to collect other superheroes from across the universe, figure out what's going on. So you had that President Superman, Captain Carrot of all things showed up from the old cartoon superhero team.
Oh yeah,
and then you had all the different kind of Superman. You had the not Red Sun, but it was what if the Nazi Germans had Superman as a kid. So he showed up. It was basically the Watchmen characters showed up, but it was not the Alan Moore characters. It was like its own take on what Watchmen could have been. So you had like a Dr. Manhattan type person.
Oh, that's cool.
Make a set like that. It would probably have like sub themes of other crisis events. So kind of like in the vein of DC Elseworlds, but not throw in the regular versions. Just have focus on all the other universe kind of people.
Okay, so to me, that's like a crisis set, right?
Yeah, we just do it. The most similar would be Crisis. Yeah,
I love that set for a DC set. That was a lot of fun. I mean, I think I had the Superboy Prime. Was that the guy? Yeah,
before, or no, Superboy Prime was Arkham Asylum.
Oh, okay, I had him.
It was the Crisis set had the 2 Chase Supermen.
I wanted them.
Yeah, and those were super hard to get.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
And that's the one also with the death of Supergirl. Is that?
Yeah, I think that was like an event dial.
Yeah,
I never got to play those.
I have all those. I never played them. They're a little bit harder to play. If I had to say perfect set, I'm more of a Marvel guy, and I think it's just where we've not had one in so long. Thor was close, but I've said this before, and I know Malcolm's getting tired of it. I just want a cosmic set.
Ooh, you're excited for Avengers Infinity then? Right.
I'm not excited in the Avengers part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I loved Galactic Guardians, or what was it? Was that right? I keep saying
Galactic Guardians had a lot of the cosmic, because there was that in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, I'm sorry, it's Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, it's Guardians of the Galaxy. Love that one. Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. And that's the one with the Prime Captain Marvel.
Yep.
I love that guy.
Oh,
Okay.
right. He was on a whole lot of teams. It was so fun.
He was. And so I missed the cosmic element. And it's probably you want the set that you've not had in the longest bit of time. Thanos, the missing of Thanos. So many good characters can go in there. But I'm such a Spider-Man fanboy. It's really, I hate to say it, that's tough because he won't ever appear in a cosmic set. Maybe.
Yeah, it's hard. Maybe because he's an Avenger. You might
maybe,
get
but I don't want a lot of Avengers. I'm also a Silver Surfer fan, and I know we're not supposed to talk about that, but and he fits in that cosmic theme. Galactus fits in the cosmic theme. The Eternals, you got Star Fox, you got a bunch of guys.
Fantastic Four clicks get made again. Oh gosh, I'll buy so much. Doctor Doom is my favorite villain of all time.
See, there you go. I think Doom's awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
If they could do Secret Wars where he was like in his white suit and all the cool stuff.
Yeah. See, so you just get jazzed for stuff like that, and it's like, and it's more of a cosmic level event. I like Fantastic Four. I would say do something with them because I never thought they were that competitive. Human Torch was, Invisible Girl was, Thing was not. Mr. Fantastic was maybe sometimes just because of his outwit.
I keep hearing talk that they're bringing them back in the comics, so it's maybe likely we'll get a set maybe down a year or two down the line.
Yeah, I did see Marvel posted a teaser, and in the poster they were saying they were as a rebirth or something like that. They're redoing stuff, and in it the Thing was in it. Didn't have all the Fantastic Four, but the Thing was in it. So the thought was, wow, they're bringing them back. They're bringing them back,
I would hope so.
Because Marvel came to some agreement. They bought Fox or something like that. So that's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. I think we're hungry for a Fantastic Four set. I am stoked. Jack of Hearts is in the upcoming Avengers Infinity War.
Or
Infinity, whatever that thing's called. Infinity set. Yeah, he's going to be in it. Jack of Hearts. Nice. So that'll be cool. I mean,
Cosmic Marvel is the thing I don't know a whole lot about, so I'll be excited to see what's in it. Everything posted so far looks pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
the vehicles. I'll be waiting to see if the vehicles do interesting things or not. But all the cosmic stuff being posted looks pretty neat. Again, they just need to do something interesting.
The two devil dinosaurs look interesting.
Yeah, because they have the new one.
Moon Girl. Yeah, the Moon Girl and the one that's with Moon Boy. It'll be interesting. I think this is a one shot for WizKids, but they're driving the price up.
Yeah, it's like this one shot.
It's kind of like Thor, but it's a lot more of a price get. I won't say gouged. It's just a price adjustment because of what you're getting. Because you're guaranteed every booster to have a large figure. So
I'll be interested to see how much it sells. My thought process, I've heard elsewhere too, is that if they're going to drive the price up, they will probably make everything in the set pretty good.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
I would hope so.
I hope so, and we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and it'll at least make sealed and battle royales interesting because you'll have all these huge dudes everywhere.
Meta will be just totally interested in June. I mean, it's just going to be crazy. I mean, stuff's going to change. Just call it right now. You can believe you know where it's going to shift. You don't really know until the rubber hits the road. Anyway, we've come to the end of the program. It's been awesome, Devin. Awesome. I mean, it has been amazing to meet such a nice guy with you, great heart for the game, and such exceptional talent when it comes to team building, which I know that over time, that's just going to show up in your events here at the metas. The metas, you will see results. So
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Shout outs are going to go out to Michael down in Puerto Rico, Jesse, who's been great. John Curl for playing with me, Symbio for helping out with some team builds, Malcolm for all his questions, all others, and Mark who we just kind of play around. And Devin, thanks for being on the program. Who y'all have all been great and fun. Who would you like to shout out to? What all would you like to just kind of give a big general shout out to?
Other players I know, shout out to Lucas for sharing good ideas on our Patreon Discord channel. Shout outs to Loki the Trickster We're always chatting on there too, talking about King Sharks. And special shout out to every single Heroclix content creator online. You guys make this worth doing. Sharing all these ideas gives me things to listen to as well. I get to bounce ideas back and forth with people, especially for Heroclix Borderlands, one of the best Heroclix podcasts out there.
Oh, he is so nice. He is so nice. I do appreciate
all the questions are always really great. It's always fun to learn these different. You have such an insightful array of questions. It's always fun to have you pick people's minds apart to figure out what makes them tick.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. That's what I go for. I appreciate that. I say it's been great, Devon. Had a great time. It's been a great episode. I will echo what you said. There's great content out there. I've been around this game for a long time, and the quality of the content's going up. The amount of content's out there, it's just great. It's a great era for Heroclix right now, especially if you want to get on the internet and find out. You know, don't feel like you're alone out there. Don't feel like you're isolated. There's avenues out there. You can go find the games. You can go find the people. So keep plugging along. I'm going to give my party shots. Email your comments and questions to lostandclicks@gmail.com or contact me on AC Realms under the ID of Colossus TN. Like our Facebook page. You can search on Facebook by typing in @Heroclix Borderlands. Please rate and review the podcast over under iTunes because they love to see that. If you have a WKO idea, please shoot it to me. I know Devon would love to hear him too. So visit his podcast, his YouTube channel, see what he's doing. It's amazing. It'll give you great insights, great ideas. Take one of his teams to his venue, have a fun time, have people talk to you about it, promote him up, get him past that point, get him to that Yahoo partners, his YouTube partnership. YouTube partner.
Subscribe to the channel, I guess.
Subscribe. Get it going. That's what you got to do. I love to hear from other viewers going to WKOs. Love to hear your horror stories. As I said, I'm going to be at Origins. I'm going to try to go to some WKOs. I'm going to start doing some Rock Limited. I'm even planning on trying to get to the Rock World Cup. And what does all that mean? I could lose a lot of games, but I'm going to have a fun time doing it. Yeah. So I say, remember, what you need to do is keep rolling double sixes because as long as you roll double sixes, you never miss. Have a good night. Bye.